going on, family? Make sure you guys get them likes up. Get them likes up. I see you, Cora. Batman, Green Gang, I see you. Appreciate you, sir. I see you, Janae. Green Gang. Come on, family, get them likes up, y'all. Kay and Kayla show. Let's go. Make sure you guys get your tickets to Houston right now. Get your tickets, family. Gary Stewart, Green Gang, I see you. What's going on, Miss Taken? Let's get them likes up, family. Let's get them likes up. It's too early. Jasmine Perry, Green Gang Savage. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate the compliment, Gary. Green Gang.
Yes, sir.
Sure, get them likes up, family. Get them likes up. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share this video before the show starts. I see you, big bad boy. Shout out to the Green Gang. Gang.
This Chicago.
What's going on, Joe Thompson? Welcome to the chat. Hit the like button, family. Hit that like button. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets to Houston. Shout out to the chat, Green Gang, I see you. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, family. Let's go. The Kay and Kayla show. I need to know where everybody watching from. Put your city in the chat for me. Let me know where y'all watching from. I see you, Amber. King KO 310, I see you. King from Cali, that's what's up. Columbia, I see you. Hey, where y'all calling from? Where y'all calling from? Calling. Where y'all watching from? That sound better. Louisiana. You laid off the rip. Shout out to the Green Gang. I've been shouting at everybody. Robert H. Green Gang, I see you. Fractal Absolutes, I see you. North Carolina. Never been to North Carolina. I gotta visit there. Green Gang, go ahead and stun on them. that green gang symbol in there. It's too early. Hit that like button, family. Hit that like button. Damn, it's almost time. Y'all ready for the Kay and Kayla show? Put that round of applause in the chat. It's almost showtime. Come on, y'all. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Yeah. Y'all ready, ladies? Let's get this show started.
Hey, ladies.
Now,
How's it going?
Hey.
Oh, I don't know. Are we not feeling a tease tonight? I guess we're not.
Oh,
I
so
know,
y'all
it's
want to feel a tease?
I
Do
mean-
y'all want to feel a tease?
Go ahead.
It's too early.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. Here you go.
Kayla, it's not that one anymore.
It's not.
It's the
It's too early, but that's okay. My gym workout was phenomenal. Before I went home, I decided to stop over at my mother's house. I haven't seen my mother in 2 months. I know she's going to be very surprised to see me. I can't wait. What the? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The first thing I noticed was this person's skin. What is going on? Uncomplicated, untreated skin? Who is this guy? I had to take a step back, but then I realized it was my brother. But look at his skin. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? I had to take a closer look and figure out what was going on. Best believe I crept up on him. Peep this. I'm still looking at his skin, trying to figure out how did we get here. I could do nothing but shake my head. He could definitely use my help. I had to get to the bottom of this. He definitely needed some game about his skin. I'm just staring at it, like looking at it. Come on, bro. I knew what to do. I had to reach in my bag and get that Tiege Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Bro, this is why I'm excited to have Tiege Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and the grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My brother was so excited. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description, and not only will you get Tiege Hanley for the best possible price, but they'll also give you a free gift with your first box. Click that link and get started today for just $30. Feel the Tiege. Let the Tiege force you. That's right, family. Feel the Tiege.
Kayla. I said that was one. That was clearly the one. I don't know why, but the "it's too early" is like emblazoned in my mind as the other one where JR has his socks and slippers getting out the bed.
Where we have to see his feet. Mm-hmm.
You know, there was this whole controversy about the socks and sleeping. But yeah,
and the socks with sandals.
Oh yeah, the socks with the sand. Look, we still got.
Okay. Get the show started, man. Y'all just started talking about me.
Look at him. He's getting mad. He getting tight.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah,
Triggered. It's okay.
Yeah, big coochie energy.
What's
Well,
up,
how are
y'all?
you ladies doing this lovely Monday?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm excited.
Yes, welcome.
Good to
No
have you
complaint.
again.
So excited to have you both. It's going to be
Nicole,
a
this
very
is
interesting show. So I'm glad we have other women on
fun.
here that are mothers and all different types of roles that, you know, we as women wear, about 20, right? So it's great to have some other perspectives here. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great show. So a lot of, I know we won't be able to play the video, but I'll probably talk about it later. But I know we wanted to start with sense of self, right? So identity is something very interesting, right? We have identity rooted in a lot of different things, obviously, in the way we look, our skin, our race, our culture, and then our gender, and then the different ideologies that we have adopted in our lives and that we follow. But as a woman specifically, right? Do you ladies believe that there is an identity outside of any of these other roles that we wear as mothers, wives, and caretakers?
You mean personally or
Yeah, personally.
society wise?
No,
Both.
personally.
I want to know definitely personally, but like the fact that you even said that makes me really curious about what you think about society.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely think that I have an identity outside of being a mother, a wife, what I do for work, those different things. And it's extremely important to me to maintain that sense of self. But yeah, I think society wise, when you get some of those labels, it kind of, a lot of times people assume that it's supposed to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? That it's supposed to, somebody tell me what the word, I don't know, I can't say it, but that it's supposed to kind of define you. That's what I was trying to say. That it's supposed to define who you are. Especially, I think mom even more than mother. I mean, even more than wife. Because when you become a mother, people just like, mothers don't do this, and mothers don't dress like this, and mothers don't. And it's like, what? We were women and people and human beings way before we birthed children, and we still are. So I think especially when it comes to mother, there's a very specific definition that society has for what a mother is supposed to be. And sometimes that can be very difficult to navigate when you're trying to keep that autonomy, as a fully realized human being.
Yeah, we are more than that. We are also co-hosts. So just a little plug. Don't forget that we will be live in Houston, me and my other co-hosts from Let's Talk. We will be in Houston April the 23rd. Get your tickets. There's literally only a few tickets left. So I hope to see you guys there in person for the meet and greet and the live show. So just wanted to add that in there. But yes, Cannon, I love what you said. It's hard sometimes to find identity outside of motherhood, or at least that's how my mother feels, in terms of like turning the mother off. And just thinking about herself. That's always something that through her life we discussed, because it was always about us since we came.
Yeah. Yep.
But what do you think, Nicole? What do you think? Do you think that women have identity or have a sense of self outside of those roles?
I think that it's necessary to have a sense of self outside of. However, I think that too many times moms succumb to the pressure of the outside influences and the external influences. So, in addition to societal influences, there are often familial influences, especially when we're talking about like the matriarchs of the family, moms who believe that your entire sense of self-worth was wrapped around how good a wife and mother you were. My people are from Mississippi, so we have like Southern value sets. And you honestly have to be very intentional, and you have to make consistent effort to retain your identity in the midst of mommying and wifing. Because, like, once your children are old enough to go to school, they don't call you Mrs. Harris, Miss Harris. They call you mom. Okay, mom. So this is what Nigel did in class today. Mom is nowhere on my birth certificate. It's nowhere on any identification that I own. It doesn't say mom. It says Nicole. But people often try to reduce your identity to motherhood or spouse once that's who you become. But yeah, I definitely feel like that's actually something that I push on all the women that I know. Do not become a casualty of your relationship. Do not become a casualty of motherhood, because if your children move out, you'll be completely lost. Once they get old enough to move out, you won't know what to do with yourself anymore. If your relationship ends, you won't know what to do. You won't know what you like. You won't know who you are. So you need to keep that going even while you're in the midst of all those relationships.
So you kind of perfectly segued like into the question, and Cannon, I know that you um were about to weigh in. And I'm sure it's gonna be along the same thing, but like the question we were gonna ask is, do women lose their sense of self once they're married or once they have children? And Nicole, you absolutely like did the perfect segue right into that, because that's what we were just about to talk about. So Cannon, give your input on what Nicole said and your answer to the question about women losing sense of self.
Yeah, I can actually bundle those two answers right into each other. Because what I was going to add to what Nicole said is that not only can it be detrimental, just like, oh, if the relationship ends or, once your children leave, I think that it can be detrimental to the relationship as well when you lose who you are in that identity. Because if like all you're doing is doing stuff with kids all day, doing stuff for the house all day, you just hyper focused on this very specific thing, and you don't have any outside interest or anything like that. I mean, that can kind of make the relationship stale. Like you don't really have anything new or interesting to discuss or talk about. Like how many times are you gonna be like, oh, guess what the baby did today? Oh, guess what the kids was doing? Like that's gonna get real old real quick. Like, what do you have interest in that's going on at all? So I think that not only can it be a detriment, like if the relationship were to end, but I think that a lot of times women do lose their identities in that. And that a lot of times it is actually detrimental to the relationship, because think of what a lot of people say when they end. We grew apart. Oh, we didn't have anything to talk about. Oh, we just, we got lost in the day to day. And that happens a lot of time. And then when people start to seek outside influences, it's because it's something different. It's because there's something interesting going on, and different things like that. So I think it's great for the relationship for you to maintain some type of sense of self-identity, because then that keeps everything interesting, not only for you, but for your partner and even for your kids, because you show them something too, instead of just being mom, right? You get to have something interesting to bring. So
yeah, I think your kids should know who you are. I think they should know who you are and what you're passionate about and what you do in life. And they're not going to know if you don't actually do these things and still make time for these things. I remember growing up, my mom was super passionate about tennis. She's still passionate about tennis. She plays with all the ladies and they have their team and they do their thing, right? And they play against other ladies across town, and there's like old lady beef and whatnot. You know what I mean? It's like a thing. And I love it. Like she always like had a life, and I always I think her also having a life and like sharing it with me also helped me with a lot of different situations, because I remember when she would be like, I grew up with some of her girlfriends like that I knew because I knew them from growing up. And as I got older and, a teenager, she would tell me about different things, and I would have a better understanding. She's just like, Kayla, in friendship, da 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 da. And like, I don't know, having your own life, I think is important for your kids to see, to get to know who you are, other than like, you're just their mother and you're here to serve them. No, that is not it. I'm here to guide you to be you're going to be out here with us. Okay. So I want you to do the best that you can. That's just my opinion, but yeah.
So, as a person who's not married yet and doesn't have kids yet, I
Amen.
think about this, and I don't know, like, I think that once, like for me at least, I think that once, I'm married and I have kids, that I will see that as part of my identity as a person, but then like not losing certain things about myself as well, like making sure that I can still, do my artistic things, be my quirky self, like be my, be me, um, while still, having these additional, parts of me that come with, those things. So I don't know. I think that, Cannon, you said something about society earlier, and I still want to get your thoughts on that, because I think sometimes in terms of like the sense of self being lost, a lot of people feel like they need to fit into like a mold of whatever people think is a good mother or a good wife. Whereas you can really, be a good mother, you can be a good wife with your own personality in there, with your own passions in there. You can really make that into your own thing based on you. So, I'm glad that Cannon and Nicole, I'm glad that y'all are here because y'all both have kids. Cannon, I know you're currently married. Nicole, I know you've been married. So like just getting that perspective from you all will be very important, I think. So like, why do you all think that sense of self gets lost? Do you think that it has to do with societal pressure, or do you think that it has to do with something else? Like what happens to make that change? Because I mean, we all know you can be a good mother and a good wife while also, being yourself. Like you don't have to change overnight into, oh, well, I got to leave my old self behind. Like, of course there will be things that change, but what do y'all think about that? Either one.
Be for all.
I didn't call anybody. It's spring break. My bad.
I think Kayla and Kay, I think both of you, I don't think either of you are going to be in danger of losing your sense of self because of how strongly instilled in you your sense of self already is. I think a lot of times what happens in marriage, because it happened somewhat with me, is if you don't have a strong enough sense of who you are before you enter into this relationship, then it's easier to get it crushed, and it's easier to get manipulated out of it, and it depends on how high your sense of self-worth already was. If you had a low sense of self and you feel like no one loves you, or you don't feel like you're valued, sometimes people just say, I want someone to love me, at all costs, at whatever cost. And so anytime someone shows them anything that looks like love and they can't recognize that it's not, then they'll enter into relationships, because some people just don't want to be alone. And so not understanding how toxic some people can be, they'll just say, well, he loves me, he treats me well, and they marry. And so because they're not fully grounded in self, then they lose themselves in trying to make sure that this person remains happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good perspective that you have. Because I think I agree. Like if you already have a strong sense of self going in, you're not going to just lose yourself once you become married or you have children. Absolutely. What you said makes sense. I get it.
The only thing
go ahead.
I have to push back and say is that I don't really think it's a worth thing. I don't think it's a self-worth thing. I think it's more of an identity thing. And I think that really applies a lot to a lot of women and men, people in general, that marry very young, because you go from somebody telling you what to do and what to think all the time to now having to get on somebody else's page, or at least compromise with a good deal of the things that you think and feel. So that not having actual identity at all is how people like get in situations where they have like resentment and they don't know why. But it's because they were going in a direction that they didn't really want to go, but they didn't know what direction they wanted to go. They just know that like this wasn't comfortable. But they don't know what they want. So they're like, let me just do this because this person cares about me or whatever, you know? So I don't know. I don't think it's a worth thing. I think it's more of an identity thing. And that's how people grow apart, because people don't really know who they are, and they root their identity in this other person until they grow the hell up. And then they're like 40 and they're like, okay, they realize like who they are, what they want. They know everything. They've learned themselves. And then they're like, okay, this isn't it. You know, and people have to go their separate ways. That's just what I think.
Kayla, I think that's an interesting point. Because as someone who is about to be married within the next month, I do think that it was very important for me to learn myself. Like, for some people that takes a long time, for some people it takes less time, but I think really knowing who you are is how you can have a more successful relationship. And then there's like that opposite end of that spectrum, right? Where you kind of grow up, you know, and you right away get married, and that can work too, because there is no disconnect. It's just straight from your parents to a husband or whatever. So I can see it both ways, but like for me personally, I definitely think that, you know, living alone, knowing who I am, like without anyone else, you know, makes my relationship better now, because I'm not totally dependent on my fiance for, you know, everything about me, right? So I think that, yeah, Kayla, I agree with you in terms of like the identity thing and getting to know yourself, knowing what's going on with yourself, so that then you can be a good partner for someone else. Because if you come in with nothing and you're trying to learn yourself, you're going to attach your identity to theirs. And like you said, that can cause resentment and all types of things, problems. Whew.
That used to happen a lot when I was young. Like, I remember like my college boyfriend, like I started like saying stuff that he would say and like talking like him. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's gonna happen anyway.
But that was my first,
Yeah,
like,
people
I thought we were
right?
gonna be like married, you know. So that's like, that was really, really serious relationship. But still, like, sometimes that stuff just happens when you're young. Like, you just start like, even not in relationships, even with just friends, you can get a new friend and they use some language all the time around you, and now you use this language. That's like as an older person, I do not do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's a maturity thing. I have no idea.
I think it's just a natural, like, I don't know. I feel like people that you're around a lot, especially when you live with them, like certain things are just going to pass off to each other, especially the longer that you're near each other. Yeah. Because Cannon, you were like, that's gonna happen. I was like, you sure?
Yeah, that's gonna happen anyway. You're not even gonna know who you're gonna be like, why do I sound like
this? Yeah.
Why am I using this phrase at this moment?
Right. And then everybody else is gonna start telling you, you sound like such and such. You're gonna be like, oh my God.
And everyone says y'all sound alike, right?
But what I was gonna add, like I think that you guys are all touching on like different aspects of what could happen, because it's a very nuanced situation, right? It's not just, you know, one thing that leads to something, especially something like that. But while I think that there are some people who go into these relationships that maybe don't have a strong sense of self, or that maybe don't have a strong sense of identity, but I think that we have to be careful altogether, because you can have a super strong sense of identity and still get into the middle of the situation and not even realize that you lost who you were until like you look back, and because you're so caught up in the day to day, especially if it's something you've never done. Like if you've never been in a marriage or long-term relationship like that, if you've never had children and then now you have, like, it's something that I always say you can't describe or explain to someone until they do it. And it's different for everybody. You know, it's not one size fits all the same. But it is something that you can't really, like, you can plan to a certain extent, but you just can't really plan for it. And so to answer your question, Kay, whether or not it's like societal pressure, or I think it's a lot of both, because I feel like, especially when your children are small, a lot of that expectation of what happens with that child is going to be reflective of the mother. Like, that's just the reality, society wise, like, right? They're going to be like, this baby dressed like this, or this baby, this or that. Is going to always go back to the mother. Maybe once children get older, maybe people will start, you know, putting both parents in it. But I know when they're small, it's going to be very reflective on the mother. And so I think that pressure you can't put that on yourself, to especially a person that, you know, because I think a lot of us go into parenthood want to be good parents anyway, right? You want to be the best parent. So that will put a lot of pressure where you're hyper focused on trying to make sure you do everything right. How, you know what I'm saying? You don't want anything to be out of place. You want to make sure you're not breaking this baby. You know, you want to
Right.
do.
You done read every book and watched every video.
Right, exactly. And you just,
My
doing
friend
all
just
the
had a
stuff,
baby. Yeah.
but all the
Everything.
little mommy groups and all the other things. But there's just a lot of stuff in the day to day. I sometimes I don't think we realize that our energy is finite. Like we don't have like just unlimited energy. So it's
kids do though,
to get lost in that.
especially them toddlers.
Like
I'll be like, "You not tired?"
It really seems like they do. It's a way to wear them out, but you learn it over time. But yeah,
Okay.
they really do seem like they just got finite energy, but I mean infinite energy. But that goes for both you and your relationship with your partner. Like sometimes you can get so caught up in just trying to make sure you do that well, which you should do it well. But you just turn around and you don't even realize that you haven't been given any energy to who you are and what you want. And you just kind of get caught in the middle of it and you look up and be like, oh my goodness. And then especially, I think that happens a lot with us as Black women, especially. I don't know about in which generations or whatever, but I can definitely speak for in my generation and what I experienced. I feel like a lot of us, and probably before that too, were socialized to take care of everybody. Right, to kind of be responsible for everybody, whether it's younger siblings, whether it's cousins, like just to be like to be selfless, right? To just always be, what do other people need? What do this? What do that? So I think you can kind of get stuck in that, and then to the point that when you do decide to do things for yourself, you feel selfish doing it. And you like, oh, this is how am I supposed to do that for myself? I'm supposed to take care of myself. Like I feel so selfish, but I think it's important for us to realize that we can't do everything for everybody, especially if we aren't taking care of ourselves first. Like that's how you get broken down over time. And that's how you you kind of get worn out. Like you have to replenish your battery just like everyone else does. And it's not unfair to anybody else to do that. So I think that we have to always kind of keep sight of that. Like there is a balance. Like you definitely want to make sure that you are setting up your kids to have the best possible life and that you're focusing on making sure that you have time with your partner and that you're focusing on your relationship. But you also have to take time for yourself too. Like you have to, like it's an important, all of them, those things are important pieces. So you can't just put your piece to the side and just be like, okay, I could just leave that. I feel like that's actually the most important piece. Because only through taking care of yourself can you take care of other people. Like that's
it's like when you're on the airplane and they're like, make sure you put your
mask on first
before you help your neighbor.
Exactly. You are a better mom when you're taking care of yourself. So just imagine if you are able to do things that you like sometimes and step away from the kids sometimes and get rejuvenated. You have more patience. You know what I mean? You have more clarity. But I mean, just trying to like kill yourself to be like, I have to do all of this and I have to focus on, then that's how you get burnt out, wore out, you losing patience with the kids and you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and not realizing why you don't have any energy. And it's like, no, you have to take care of yourself sometimes so that you can actually be a good mom and so that you can be a good wife. And I think it's super important too when it comes to being the wife, because you and your husband were partners before you had these kids. Right. And y'all like stuff about each other. So you want to make sure that you are, again, able to maintain that relationship like as a man and a woman. Right. You don't want to just be like a husband and a wife or a mom and dad together. Like me and my husband, like we've known each other since we were 13 years old. So we're like friends. And so it's important to maintain that level of spontaneity and, interest. Like you can't even be interesting. Like I say, if you don't grow yourself and focus on yourself, you can't surprise your partner and be like, oh, she into this now, or anything like that, if you just not even growing or focusing on yourself at all.
There has to be some interest. There has to be things like, I think throughout life, regardless, we're always supposed to be learning, always supposed to be growing to the day we die. Anybody that thinks they know and they have it all figured out, I mean, that's a problem. So I think that overall that this should be an agreeable topic. Look at us women being agreeable. I can't even believe it. We haven't disagreed yet. This is crazy.
Look at us understanding that different people can have different experiences and different opinions. Oh my goodness.
It's wild. Who would have thought?
That's not how it works on the internet. Okay.
On in and
Break
y'all,
it.
like y'all have
But
been married,
also,
blah, blah. It should be a fight by now, right? But we're out here agreeing.
So, but that does make me want to bring up Amira's video, right? So I was watching this video of Dr. Amira. She's a dentist. She's also married to an NFL player. And she was talking on this podcast called The Pivot, I believe, where she was speaking about just like women's identity within their relationship, within their marriage. And she was talking about a situation where she had met someone and the person introduced themselves as so-and-so's wife. And she was like, I make it a point to introduce myself. Like when someone says, oh, are you so-and-so's wife? She's like, I'm Amira. Nice to meet you, you know? And so I just thought that was like really interesting because she has figured out, like she's the unicorn that we all love, right? She's figured out how to balance running a dental practice, being an NFL wife, having 2 kids, and, you know, still doing socialite things. And I see her out and doing, you know, so I think that when certain women that marry certain men, I think that they believe that the identity in that relationship is more valuable. Now, when we get back to the whole self-worth thing, more valuable than their own sense of self. Just like women these days can become like famous from being like somebody's baby mama. You know what I mean? Like, is that not a thing? I'm pretty sure that's the thing. So I, you know, there's the other side of the coin of women that say that like their identity is rooted in who they're with, especially if that person goes on to be renounced or Martin Luther King, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what do y'all think about that?
No, I think that absolutely happens where, I mean, even if you think about just the way traditionally produced once you get married, right? It's Mr. and Mrs. the male name, right? Like that's just kind of how we engage. And even if you think about like in some of these spaces, like it's used as a insult and as a badge of honor, like being married, being a wife, like, oh, you're not a wife, or oh, you're a wife. It's like, okay, like
Right.
all right. I guess it's some kind of amazing thing happened once I got married that just, I don't know. But you see it a lot, right? That's used to kind of assess the value of a woman, is her proximity, I guess, or desirability to men, or I guess validation by a man. So yeah, that absolutely happens where that becomes their primary identity. Like, I'm such and such wife, or I'm his. And but like now, since marriage is not as popular as it used to be, then yeah, a lot of people settle for the baby mama status. But yeah, which is still tied to being in proximity to some man. So I don't know. I hope we get away from that.
I don't think we are. I think it's getting worse, to be honest.
Do you think it's getting
yes.
worse?
And when I log into Instagram, why am I getting news feed updates on R.A. Fletcher? Like, who are you? What is your talent? Why the hell are you relevant?
The reason
because you have a baby with a rapper? Like, no.
I don't think it's getting worse because I look at like Gen Z, like the younger people, and they are not necessarily finding pride in the things that the people of the millennial age and beyond used to find pride in. Like, not being married isn't the same insult among their crowd as it is among,
right.
People that are in their 30s or 40s or whatever. So like, but Kayla, I mean, I think that it's still out there for sure. Like this mindset is still there, but thinking about the younger generations, I don't know if they still feel the same way.
Yeah,
like that's
the Gen Zs, they don't see it. They don't take it serious and see it as like, they don't have those social, like, not pressures, or what is it? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
What I was going to say is, do you think that it's more just the nature of social media that just decides to, because it's the salacious thing or it's the hot topic for the moment. And so it's something that people like to because they like to get in these celebrities' personal business now. Like, think about it. Like, celebrities now are celebrities just for being like celebrities, like, right, as opposed to like for some talent, and then being a celebrity is like a side effect of having the talent. It's like, no, just being like in the spotlight is the thing now. So I don't know if that whole phenomenon is happening more, or if it's just more exposure because that's the moment we're in on social media. I'm not sure. Because I don't know. Like you say, I don't know if I see the younger generation just out here running to be like, ooh, and I want a baby and let me be a baby. Like, I don't think that they're really like doing that, you know? Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's always been a culture of girls that carry, you know, turkey basters in their purse. There will always be like that sector of women.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's what I mean.
I don't think that like
promotes that more.
I don't think culturally it's getting I think it's getting better generationally, but what I'm saying when I'm saying it's getting worse, meaning it's getting
the
worse.
Culture
like,
is deteriorating.
The culture, as I see through the culture, it's getting worse. But I am happy. The Gen Zs, the people that are 18 and 20 right now, they seem to be learning from some of our mistakes, which is the whole point, right?
Yeah, no, they definitely they definitely do seem to be getting it, you know, getting it together a little bit. Like, a lot of them are waiting a lot longer to start families. You know, which I think is a great thing, because they're taking more time to kind of, I think to a certain extent it can make them take it more seriously, right? Because they can plan it better. But I think that we've also afforded them in a lot of ways that luxury in a way that some of us maybe weren't afforded that luxury. So that's kind of our gift to them. So you don't have to rush and do anything. Just take your time. You can figure it out. You know, you have space to do it. So I think I'm seeing a lot of that now.
Nicole, what do you think about that? Like what Kayla was saying, and then like Cannon's response to it.
I think that there's going to always be a remnant. I think there's going to always be a traditional remnant. So like, I know not too long ago, there was a chastity movement among younger people, because I'm easily the oldest person here. So I'd say among 20 something, I don't even know about the generation thing, the letters and stuff, but I want to say these were probably whoever millennials were like 10 years ago. There was like a chastity movement where girls were insistent upon keeping their virginity until they got married. So while there are going to be those, as Kayla was saying, who kind of don't really care about, wait, this may not have been what Kayla was saying. Let me try it again. Those who don't necessarily care about the confines of relationship and marriage, there will still be those who do. Like my cousin, I told her she's living the life that I wish I had lived at her age. Her and her guy are traveling. They're getting financially stable. They're enjoying life and each other before marriage. They're not married yet. They're just enjoying life, and they're being young. And they're being young and being financially secure at the same time. So it's not, I'm working 50 years to retire. It's more of, I'm learning how to make my money work for me, and I'm enjoying my life in the meantime. And so by the time they settle down and have kids, like this generation, like y'all's generation, y'all got it quicker. Y'all got it sooner. You know, you figured out that I can be a whole person by myself. I can be an entire entity by myself, whether I'm a wife or not. I'm still Kay. I'm still Kayla. I'm still a force. So if I get married or if I don't get married, I'm still just fine, and then some. But if I do get married, then it's like the Neo song. I'm a movement by myself, but we're a force when we're together. So when you learn how to fully understand your stock identity, Kayla, then if you decide to settle down, then the union will be a formidable one. And if you don't, you're still going to be amazing. So I don't know that there's been a shift in the dynamics as far as I kind of do think that younger people are holding back on the marriage thing a little. But I also think
A
that
little.
the I think that the advent of technology has made financial stability much more of a priority than matrimony. So, like, it's not saying that they don't want to get married, but it's saying that a lot of times they focus on finances first and
Do you
then
think
marriage, when historically it was the other way around.
Yeah, I was just gonna say historically it was the other way around. It was like find someone to marry so that you can build wealth. These days people are like, I need to get my money together before I get married.
so, like, we all know why the money situation is more of a thing, capitalism, there's a lot going on.
This is true.
So, like, a lot of families can't live with one parent working. So now it's like, okay, both people need to work, whatever. Like, there's a whole discussion that can be had about, like, society in that aspect, the workforce and like money making and all that. But I know that there has been a shift. And like I said, I think it's more so because of what needed to be done. I don't think it was really like an ideological thing. It was more so like people can't survive with one parent working because things are more expensive, and that job at, wherever is not going to be able to take care of your whole family. So now your wife has to work. People went to war. Like, it was a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So do you think, Nicole, that that the leaning towards like going after your career first and all these types of things, do you think that that has served people better, or do you think that that's worse? Like, do you think that the results of that have been worse?
I think that depends, and this is going to be one of those, it depends completely on the people you're asking. I think that is completely subjective, and I think that's completely relative, because I value peace a little bit more than I value finances. So I like financial security. Don't have to marry for it. I'm kind of decent on my own, but I like being in a home that's chaos free, if that makes any sense. So you have some people who are just hell bent on establishing financial foundation for themselves and for their legacy. So the short answer to your question, I'm gonna go with no, because it is really dependent on. So that's not even no, it's dependent on.
I love a good it depends situation. I definitely understand. I'm not going to pressure you. It can depend. Cannon, what do you think about that same question in terms of like, has that made it worse or better? Like, a lot more people worried about their finances before they get into a family situation. What do you think about that?
Has made it worse or better for what exactly, in terms
Just
of like,
in terms of society, in terms of families, in terms of Black family structures, in terms of whatever you want to put it in terms of? You can specify it however you want.
Okay. This is difficult. I think that, and I've been yelling this from the rooftops for a very long time, that we grossly underestimate the effects of technology on our behavior. And I know for a fact that the technological advances that we've had over like the past 20 years have been at such a rate as to what we've never seen in our history so far. And I think that it's happening at such a quick rate that we don't even have enough time to kind of gauge all the ins and outs of the effects, like of what is actually affecting certain things. So it's like, even when Nicole brought up and she said, I think through social media, people are focusing on money more as opposed to building families. But there's also something to be said about ease of access, right? We have access to everything at our fingertips. We have like a popcorn microwave society. Like I think TV dinners is what kicked it off. Like, they started making the TV dinners.
You know what? It was them damn TV dinners. Yeah. Ever since them damn TV dinners came out, not everyone is watching it overnight.
That's what it is. But it's like we live in everything is like fast, quick. Like even look at our fashion, like everything is fast fashion. Like everything is just like has to be right now in the moment. Like you say, and even if we think about relationship wise, how people used to have to interact and engage in relationships, like people used to live in like on farms, right? And like the next farm was like so many miles away, like, you know what I'm saying? To like kind of interact and be social, you had to kind of do it a different way. And then you still only access to a certain group. Like you couldn't just, like, even if you think about like cars and stuff, like you couldn't just hop and be like, oh, I'm going to go all the way out of town over here. Like it used to take days to get places. So people used
everything has changed.
Yeah, I'm saying, so people used to interact differently, but it's like now you can just like pick up your phone and you can keep in touch with people from like kindergarten, and like you just got access to like everything like immediately. Like, oh, swipe here, look at this. Like, and so I do think that it has an effect on the focus and things like that, but I think you have to also partner that with the reality that culturally for America, it's a very individualistic society, getting more and more individualistic as we speak, but that has never really worked very well for us as a community. What works better for us as a community is to be more community minded, right? And to have that those larger familial support systems, because one of the things that I always find kind of interesting is that everybody's like the family structure, and it's like our family structure has always been large extended families and that type of support even within those marriages. Like, yeah, people had marriages, but they still had like close knit, like they had aunts and uncles and grandmas helping and all this stuff. Like we would band together. But we get a lot more individualistic and everybody's kind of like in their own little silos. So I think that that part kind of has more of an impact on families than anything else. Like people aren't even really taking care of their elders anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
don't get me started. My grandmother just moved to South Florida. I'm taking care of her. I'm telling people I got to do stuff for my grandmother.
They're like, what is that? What you doing? Right? Yeah.
Like, because the mindset is very
individualistic now. Like very much like you figure out your own thing over there. You handle your stuff.
But that they're doing themselves a disservice because our elders have so much information. Like just sit down and have a lunch with them and talk to them about an hour. And I'm telling you, you'll learn so much, but you'll also teach them a lot too.
But I feel like you owe it too. Like that, like that's how it's supposed to work. Like they take care of you, then they get older, you take care of them. Like
that's how it's supposed to work.
But yeah, we've gotten, I feel like we're getting more and more away from that. I feel like we still do it more as a community than the larger society does, because they've been got away from it a long time ago. If you look at, but I feel like we're starting to kind of fall in line with a lot of that thinking as well. And I think social media has a huge impact on it. So I definitely agree with Nicole. But I don't know if it's about the money more so than it's just about people just in their own little world. I
think it's about the money, but I also think it's about like people wanting this fantasy of what they think it is instead of what it really is. Sad.
Oh yeah, it's work.
Mm-hmm. I like saw your finger go up or something. Or your mouth.
Yeah, I wanted to a couple minutes ago when Cannon was talking about social media. I did want to interject that another thing that got a lot of exposure here recently was different avenues of wealth building, because we didn't always have access to, like, we didn't have widespread access to stock markets, learning about real estate investment, because we couldn't have access to it. We weren't granted access to it because of racism, or we weren't granted access. For whatever reason, we weren't granted access. So whether it was inadequate school resources that we were given or whatever. So now you can go on the internet anywhere. You can find out about stocks. You can find out about trading. You can find out about investments. You can find out how to flip houses, buy houses off taxes. And you can find out all these different ways of building wealth. Like when they wrote Rich Man, Poor Man, The Millionaire Next Door, Who Moved My Cheese, these books weren't available a while back. And now, again, with the advent of technology itself is an incredible source of wealth building. So, and younger people come here with technological savvy. So like, by the time they're 3, they're working cell phones better than their parents. So when you introduce the idea of taking their talent and segueing that into money-making opportunities for them, the earlier you start, the earlier they can be wealthy. And with the internet, the possibilities are instantaneous and endless. So that wasn't always accessible for us either.
Technology, the gift and the curse.
Yes.
The gift and the curse. But yeah, no, I definitely think that a lot of the times, as things are changing, we have to change with it. But it's kind of crazy to me how fast technology is like moving. And yet there are some people that like can't keep up in terms of like how things in relationships are changing. And they're still stuck on like old ways of old when it comes to like relationships and mating. And it's very weird to me how everything else is modern, but this is supposed to not be modern.
Well, again, Kayla,
it's an insult nowadays.
Yeah, like, but what I'm saying is to be fair, as humans, we are not used to adjusting this quickly to this much change. Like, think about how slow change used to be before. Like, you had like whole generations where they go through like the whole thing. If we just look at, especially like our group, look at how many massive shifts, right, we have had just because of technology culturally, right, that we've had to kind of try to adjust to and kind of try to figure out. Like, we as humans, I don't know if we built to be that agile when it comes to that type of thing. Maybe over time, we'll evolve to that level, but we have not had to do it prior.
We need some like biometrics in here, right?
People can't adequately compartmentalize. They just can't. I'm really good at that, and I just don't think that people.
What do you mean by that? Compartmentalize?
Like separating. So separating how technology affects certain parts in our life, but keeping the humanity on other parts. And I think that is why millennials, like, nobody is like us. Nobody will have the agility that I think that we have, because we grew up pen and paper, regular, doing everything for the old.
But also AOL
tapes, record players, VHSs, 8-tracks, you know what I'm saying? And then Kayla, one day everything changed. Like,
but Kayla, we were in there though, like AOL Instant Messenger, like Black Planet, like there were MySpace, like all these things that like you said, I always think about right. I always think about like millennials as like, kind of bridging the gap. Like, we know about things from before, and we're still very related to things that are now.
We still have that ground root.
Social media is still, social media.
But we're fully engulfed in this as well. Exactly. That's why I said we have the ability to compartmentalize and say, okay, and then other times understanding that this is like a humane moment. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was noticing that in the hair salon the other day. As you see, I got a new do because that's what I do. Right. And this girl was doing, she was letting her daughter, who's a teenager, right, do her younger daughter's hair, right? And it was traumatizing me. No, for real, you guys, it was traumatizing me. Just the way that she was just dealing with her. And I'm just thinking, like, when I grew up, going to the hair salon was a service. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go there to relax. You go there to unwind. You're supposed to be massaging the scalp and relief. And like, it's not just about getting the do done. And like, even that's different. Like, everything is so different. I don't know. It really traumatized me how she was just yanking at the girl's hair. And the girls literally screaming. She's like, "Oh, just this is what comes with it." And I'm like, "What?" Like,
see, Kayla, the fact that was on. Was that a video, Kayla, that you saw?
No, I was there. I was getting my hair braided.
I was about to say, look, I feel like that's been happening forever. People yelling about getting hair yanked. That's been a thing.
Not me though. Like, getting hair yanked, that was not a thing. My mom definitely handled our hair with care. Now, getting your hair pressed with the hot comb on the stove, that was the problem.
That was child abuse.
Okay.
smoke next to your eye. You're like, wait, no.
That shit is hot. I'm over here holding my ear like, oh my
I'm not burning you. I'm not burning you. You're burning me. You're burning me, ma'am. Okay.
You're burning
Either
me.
you were the person with the little burn on your head, or you knew somebody.
Yeah,
on
a little
their
ear
head,
right here, and then
or on the ear, like
while they just trying to tell me it's the heat from the hot comb. It's the heat from the hot comb. It's burning me. Duh.
Like, wait a minute. That smoke is really close to my eye. What's going on?
But I think
you can smell my hair because it's burning.
The thing is that we do everything more quickly. Like that's what I mean. Like we expect, like with the fast food, like everything is quick, how to get it quicker, how to get it faster, how to get it cheaper. Like that's with everything, right? So I do think that happens in an industry. But I think it depends on where you go to. Because you go to certain places, they they've been like that for a long time. Like Kay said. But
no. Because I was about to say, like some salons you go to strictly for leisure, and some people go to salons for functionality. Like I believe it, I'm at the salon to get my hair done, and when I go, I can't stay there for 4 hours. I don't have available time to stay there for 4, 5, and 6 hours. So, like there are salons where you can go and they give you the wine and you have the soft music and the robes and the soothing atmosphere. Like those are the salons you can go to for the leisure. But then some women, they have salons like, this is the only time I have free. I had a long day. You had a long day. I don't care. Sit down in the chair because it's the only time you can get your hair braided. I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't care what kind of day you had. So I think in addition to the trauma that comes from the pulling because of the style, the entirety of the context matters. Because, I've seen some heads get yanked. These tender-headed little people, and their mom can't do their hair at home, so somebody has to do it. So you just get to see that they tender-headed sometimes.
Like we're talking about this, I'm like, I've gotten facials, massages, but like the last time I went to get my hair done at a salon was way more than a decade ago. I have not been
Kay?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
I have not
there
been
are some natural hair salons that would like get
my goodness. Like now that I'm thinking about this, like, wait, what have I been?
Yes, natural hair salons, and they'll do like the hydration process. Well, they're like fortify your curls, and then they put like a diffuser on it to get them popping. Like, yes.
I have not been in at least
they got the steam years. when they washing your hair in the bowl, then they got the steam coming out.
I hate going to get my hair done. I only go when I really just don't feel like doing it myself. Then I'll be like, somebody else to do it.
At least 12 years.
It's something soothing about
I haven't even thought about it. Like it hasn't even been.
I hate going to get my hair done.
Massages are very important for your scalp, and for me, I just can't do them. No, for real. I need somebody else. So every 2 weeks, a good head massage is really good for your scalp. Like,
but
ladies, I'm telling you.
Okay, but let's think about this too, right? One thing that I have noticed is, have any of you noticed how teenagers are not even that excited anymore to like get their driver's licenses as like when we were younger?
Oh yeah, the excitement about those types of things has declined drastically.
I think that it has a lot to do with cell phones and like Uber and Lyft and like those industries popping up, because I think it makes it so that those kids can get around more easily without having to have a license now, because they can just
where are they getting this money?
Give me a Lyft and give me an Uber. We be spoiling these kids. Like, give me an Uber. Send me some Uber Eats. You better go sit down somewhere.
No, you better get out of my face. No.
But that's what's happening though, right? Like they are actually utilizing those services. So like that's even a way just to look from one generation to the next at how it's drastically shifted and even what their priorities are.
Yeah.
Like a drastic shift.
I am not letting my teenager get in no Uber. What?
Little kids.
No.
Teenagers are using Ubers and Lyft.
You're going to have to do what we did when you grew up. You're going to have to find a way to get there. Either I'm dropping you off or I'm picking you up. You know, somebody mama that I know picking you up, or I'm dropping you up. Like,
yeah,
What?
See,
You're not
Kayla,
getting in an
see,
Uber.
see,
Like,
Kayla,
I feel the
things
same
is
way, but
concept change.
in
The
reality,
aspects are
with
not what they
teenagers.
were.
I promise you, their teenagers are getting in Ubers and Lyfts. Yes, they
even
are.
people that are not
Are
teenagers
you
are
so?
getting in
Can
Ubers. and
minors
Lyfts.
do that?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, I
Yeah.
see kids getting picked up from school in Ubers and Lyfts. Like
Yes.
it's the whole thing.
what?
Yes. This is no, but see, Kayla, do you see how what I'm saying
Right.
is the shift in mindset is not keeping up with what we have available to us as far as technology. Like even you're surprised, like people are letting their kids get, and I work in technology, right? So I always talk about how we don't even understand that industries like Uber and Lyft were only able to exist because of the technology on our cell phones, right? Like once we got 4G, that's when we were able to do that. We weren't able to do that before, right? Before that, it was somebody was like, oh yeah, you're gonna get in a car with a stranger that you don't know. People be like, no, I'm not. What you mean? I'm not finna do that, right? But it's like now with that, like people just do it without even thinking twice about it. Like they just be like, oh, give me an Uber and Lyft.
That's true.
Hop in random cars with people. Like we do it every day and we don't think twice about it.
Don't you think that has okay? Let's watch our words.
Kayla is mind blown.
Let's watch our words because I don't want to get flagged. Right? But don't y'all think that all this technology has created danger?
Yeah. Well,
like
I think that
it's dangerous to me that kids are getting like, I don't care that I get it's technology, whatever. It's technology can still be manipulated. All different things can happen. I don't know. I just feel like it's making us so much more comfortable.
It's dangerous. This is something that I think of often. I've had this conversation on multiple occasions. Like, let's say Facebook or Instagram, whatever.
Hold on. I was getting on the bus when I was like 6.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was riding the bus.
Some people are not cool with their kids getting on the bus. Like some people still aren't. So like it's just a different form of the same thing. And like in terms of social media and all that, I always think like, all right, is it doing more harm or is it doing more good? I've talked about this several times. Do y'all think that social media is doing more harm? Like Kayla, you brought up a good point. Like certain things are more dangerous. Mental health issues are on the rise. Like, of course, we know that there are plenty of ways that harm is being done because of like this instant access to everyone on the planet whenever you feel like it, right? But also there are good things because of this. So like, what do y'all think about that? Is it more harmful or does it do more good?
I don't think that question has or can even appropriately be
answered
at this moment because everything is a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that's gonna exist that's just gonna give net benefits or so it's like it comes with pros, but then it also has some type of unintended effect.
Do you think it balances out?
I don't know. I have to measure something, right? And I have to look at what information we have to figure out what we're measuring to say. Some like data. When you even say like mental health, right? Are mental health issues on the rise because we're more sensitive to mental health issues,
or because they're being identified more, the same ones?
That's what I mean. Or is it just they're just
because there is no identity, and then people's identity comes in what people think of them. And if people like them, and if people comment them, or if people don't, or people write bad comments, people write things to insult them, like those things, like I think of a teenager, you know what I mean? These things start to become a part of their identity because they're still building it. They are a kid, So I think it's very dangerous. And
it is dangerous.
I can't say what kind of parent I'm going to be, but I know I'm going to be hated. I can tell you right now, they ain't gonna like me at all because I don't care about none of that.
By the time your kids get teenagers,
that means you're doing your job. I tell people all the time, if my son
my mom used to
2 times a week, I'm not doing my job as a parent.
I'm like,
and what's funny and what's interesting though, Kayla, as much hope that you want to give for people on using this technology and being good at it, most people are not. Like I say, I work in technology. Most people don't know what their kids be doing with this technology, and that's just facts. And the gulf is only widening. So good luck. Just good luck with that. I remember my sister when she was a teenager, she had a cell phone, and she probably she ain't gonna kill me. My mother know now, but she used to get on punishment. And my mother would take her phone away. Well, she would, my mother would take her phone away, like, give me your phone. She would take the SIM card out, right, and give my mother the phone, and then have like a backup phone, like an old phone or something, and put the SIM card in there and just keep. Like, my mother never even considered, you know what I mean? Because she's not
She
thinking
was
about
smart, yo.
Like, my mother didn't even realize that phones like had a SIM card in it. Like, she didn't know what she was doing, you know what I mean? And it was like she was just like, okay, take my phone, like. And so it's just like stuff like that. I don't know, where we are in a very unique
them kids be finding a way.
But we are dealing with a very unique set of circumstances when that's different from ever before. That, like I say, I don't even think we are fully ready to grasp what all of this means in this moment. But it's not slowing down. It's definitely not slowing down. So I don't know.
But as things are changing, kind of going to the next topic, I was thinking about it a little bit. Okay. So the way that things used to be in terms of the way that we identify ourselves, the way that people identify us, the way that people see us, right? It came to my attention the other day when we were on Let's Talk, right? And there were comments being made about my Instagram or about just my appearance in general. And I'm just trying to understand why everything that has to do with women is like sexualized and objectified. No matter what you do, you're seen in some kind of sexual way. Like, no matter what it is you could do, you could be painting, right?
I mean,
so why is that? Do you think that will ever change, or do you think, women base their appearance on what other people think? Or will we always do that?
I think that over time, at some point, it will change, only because I hear a lot of those in-depth conversations happening more. And I feel like the younger generation coming up are a lot more versed in those things. Like they have a lot of those conversations about like autonomy and consent, and you know what I mean, like over sexualization. Like
what's not okay.
They literally have a lot of these conversations in ways that I don't think have ever happened before. So I don't know. I think to a certain extent it'll still exist and it'll take a while, but I think that, I mean, whether we like it or not, it is changing, because if you look at the teenagers coming up now, they just don't look at things the way that we did. They just don't. So it's like, it's changing.
Yeah. I mean, do women base their appearance on what men will think? I think that is changing a lot. Absolutely. There are women who base their, they're like, I'm going to do this because men will like this or that or whatever. I know that exists, but I think that it is definitely changing. Like, I think that posting pictures on social media has just become like a thing to do. Like, I don't think that so much thought goes into it. Like, my grandma is like, you better not be putting me on no Facebook. Like, every time I take a picture, like, she doesn't even want her face anywhere. And then, my mom is like, are you sure you want to put your credit card? I'm like, you can pay for stuff online. And then me, here I am, like, posting selfies, paying for stuff online. So, like, I think it just gets a little bit more lax as each generation goes. And, like, for the generations younger than me, I don't think that they always see it like, I'm doing this for this. It's just something intuitive at this point. Posting pictures, doing certain things, wearing certain things. I don't think it's always like based on feedback of others, even though that is what ends up happening if you post on social media. I just don't think it's something that's like thought out. And like in terms of women basing their appearance on what men think, I mean, some do, but I think a lot of women base their appearance on what other women are going to be there and what is the vibe of the place and, what are we wearing type of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a lot that goes into why people choose to look how they look. I don't think it is always about a man. Nicole, what do you think about that?
I think happily married women don't base their appearance on what men will think other than their husband. Single women, some, depending on what their intention is at that time. If they're happily single and they're not looking for a man, then probably not. When I go outside, I'm comfortable. If you like it, okay. If you don't, okay. I'm still comfortable because I figured out that at the end of the day, I have to live with me. Whether there's someone living with me or not, I have to live with me. So when I go outside, I have boys. When we go into the park, I'm not about to be in heels. I'm not about to be uncomfortable. So wherever I'm going to be comfortable. Now, if that comfortable happens to be a nice outfit, then that's just what happened. But that's not always my intention. So I think it depends on what she wants. Like if you know you're trying to go out there and get chosen, then that's how you're going to dress. But like if I'm going to the store, if I'm going to take my son to the basketball court, or if I'm going to a game, if I'm going grocery shopping. So it depends on intention.
Nicole, what do you think about the whole like social media thing? I think we've talked about this before, Kayla. Maybe on this show, I'm not sure if it was on Thursday, but getting likes, this has been studied. There's a whole dopamine situation, it happens. And that's just human nature to like certain feedback, right? So if you are a woman and you're getting likes and whatever, like, do you think that the gender matters? Do you think that women typically will do something to look for a man's approval versus other people? Like, because it doesn't matter, like a like is a like, right? Like the likes are what you post for. You post so that people will see it. Otherwise, in fact, Kayla, I think we did say this on our show. Like you can write in your journal. You can send your picture to your grandma directly.
Right.
Like you have to post it on social media instead. Exactly. So you're looking for someone to like it, to comment, to interact somehow. And like, I just see a lot of times women are posting pictures like in certain outfits and they're like, this is for men. And I'm like, I don't necessarily think it's for men. I think that people just like people to interact. So like, I don't know. Even though some people do it for men, I think that things are changing a little bit in terms of that. Because social media is it's like on a psychological level, getting to people and are just looking for that feedback. And I don't think that if you have 10,000 likes, that I don't know how many people are going in looking like how many are men. Like, I think it's just the amount of feedback that you're getting on social media. And again, not my, this is studied. There's research out there about the dopamine situation. So yeah, what do y'all think about that? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
Just really quick. I think that it's always going to be a little bit of both. I think that people want to be seen. People want to be recognized, period. But I also think that if most people that are doing it, it's not rooted in that. That's one of, that's on the list down on maybe 4 or 5 or 3, but it's not rooted in that. Now, I do think that there are people that it is rooted in that, but I genuinely think that as a woman, in my opinion, if only men compliment you in a sexual way, I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's just something, right? Makes you eyebrow go, I don't know. Because for me personally, like people compliment me, not just men, women, old ladies, young ladies, men, little boys, just anybody that just, and I do the same thing. If I see something that I like, I tell the person, I like your bag, I like your hair, you look great, whatever, anybody. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little like, to me, it's saying something. If only men compliment you in a sexual way.
I think I like that you brought up the studies and everything to talk about how the likes affect people's, brain chemistry and things like that. I think it's also very important for us to be mindfully aware that a lot of this is by design. Like,
Oh yeah.
social media is designed in a way for us to engage and interact.
Literally to get addicted like a drug.
Yes, they
Yeah.
spend a lot of
Mhm.
money on understanding how human behavior works, what
Yep.
to do to drive certain behaviors, and they're
Yep.
very effective at it. Like, they put a lot of time and energy into it. So it's not like it's a situation where you can just be like, oh, people are choosing to do, which we are, but there is an actual psychological, purposeful
Yes.
setup,
Mhm.
right? Even
Mhm.
the setup of the fact, like I say, that we depend so much on these devices for like day-to-day stuff that we do. Like, it's our calendar, it's our alarm, it's our GPS, like
Man.
it's everything. Like, we always have it with us. The entire algorithm, the way your phone is set up, is it's all working in sync to have you engaging most, because there's ads, there's all these things that they want to get to make money. So it's made that way. So people who just think like, like, oh, and all these people are just, it's like, no, it's by design. That's why people are doing those things and why people are engaging that way. But I think it's also, I'll just use a perfect example of how our environments also impact the way that we show up, even when we aren't absolutely aware of it a lot of times. Because I'm originally from the south side of Chicago, but I lived in Dubuque, Iowa, this little small town somewhere in Iowa, for about a year or so. And I remember during that time, like, I didn't give a second thought to like kind of what clothes I wore or what kind of car I was driving, or like, it's like this little small town, people just went to work and they hung out at the Walmart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all they did. Like, that was the most fun. Like, they would go hang out at the Walmart, like literally. And now I live in Atlanta. And what I will say that, in the city of Atlanta, is definitely about the show a lot. You know what I mean? Like, how you show up, like looking put together, right? Like, at all times, kind of like a big deal. So it's like you kind of fall into those environments that you're around, right? You kind of assimilate to it. So I think that that's something to think about too, because some people will say, oh, you're always getting dressed up for this. It's like, no, that's just the environment that I'm in. It's like second nature at this point. It's like not to be like, ooh, this person is going to see me. And it's like, I'm just used to it now. You know what I mean? Like, it's like literally, like, I don't know if people like have spent time out here, but I know when people come here from other places, they always remark, they like, people dressed up to go to the grocery store. I'm like, that's just how it be,
You
like,
know what? That is the environment though. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Even at Howard, people like used to get like dressy to go to class.
Yeah. Like,
but that was the culture.
And it's not to be like, ooh, let me catch somebody at the grocery store. It's like, no, it's kind of like just the expectation. Like, almost like how people used to dress up to go to the air to travel. Like, people, like, they used to be a big deal. Like,
I still do that. Every now and again. No, every now and again, I still do that. I think people should do that. I miss those days. I miss those days where people got
Kayla,
like
you are
really,
talking
really
like
cute.
you are 70 years. You're like, I miss those days. When people used
like, get off my lawn.
No, I'm just saying, like, I remember when I first started flying as a kid, like at 8 years old, it was like I had to be together and everything with my family when we were going to the airport.
Now it's just like sweatpants.
And then, like, traveling over these last few years with my family, people got on sweatpants, hoodies, beanies. Pajamas. They're not caring. They're just like, I'm getting on here, go to sleep, right?
Yeah, but that's also as a result, again, technology. Airline travel has become a lot more accessible to people. Like, people get on the airline now, go take a plane ride. Just, I remember a few years back, me and my husband were long distance for a while. Frontier first launched, they used to have like $15 flights. Like, we was like back and forth like every week, like $30 round trip. Like,
Frontier traumatized me. I'm traumatized for real.
But I mean, for $30 round trip, you just hop on a flight and you like where you need to go in like an hour. It's like almost like a car ride. It's like nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I mean. Like, before, you have to be in a certain level to even take a flight. You know what I'm saying? You had to be able to afford certain things to even take a flight. So it was prestige to it. But now it's like, it's so common. Like, you can just go hop on a flight. Like, oh, I'm going to get on this flight real quick. Like, so
Literally
it does
book the flight
affect our,
the same day.
yeah.
Done
Like,
it many times. Like, I don't even have stuff. I'll just get stuff when I get there. Like, I'm just going for the day. Like,
yeah, just hop on this flight real quick.
but Southwest be having flights for $50 and free luggage. So yeah,
$50 each way. That's $100.
Each way to clarify.
I said $15 not 50.
For
After that trauma, I have
They
to pay
don't
the
have it
extra
anymore.
$30 because I can't.
They don't have it anymore, but they did when they first launched. And I mean, a quick 1 hour flight, $30. I could do it real quick.
Girl. I heard that actually Spirit is trying to buy Frontier, or Frontier is trying to buy Spirit, or one of the two is trying to be happening right now. No. JetBlue is trying to buy Frontier because Spirit is trying to buy Frontier. And basically take over all of the affordable travel,
budget ad hoc travel.
Yeah. So now there'll be no like multitude of lower, costs airlines you can fly anymore. Like if they merge, you know what I mean? There'll be no separate. So JetBlue's trying to come in and stop it. And I told JetBlue, mind your business.
You told them.
Do not get involved. I like y'all. Y'all can't start getting affiliated with Spirit. Come on.
That's what you told them.
That's neither here nor there. Sorry.
Look at Kayla being bougie.
I'm not. What? I just told y'all I fly on Southwest. How am I bougie on Southwest? I'm just saying, by the time you pay for your bags, you're paying the same.
I actually prefer Southwest to the other airlines. They're more comfortable than the other airlines.
Southwest is pretty comfortable. I mean, obviously, if you're on Delta,
I don't know what people be talking about. No,
but those prices are not comfortable.
Those seats don't be comfortable on Delta.
Yes, they do. Ooh, girl, Delta is so comfortable.
You know what? I think their new plane that they're trying to shove more people into, they are not comfortable. I've actually been surprised.
We just go fly on Emirates like you. We just
no.
Be on Emirates. I
prefer Southwest. I actually prefer Southwest. That's
me too. And them points actually add up to something. I've gotten drink tickets in the mail twice.
Yeah, like I prefer it. So
free cocktails.
we didn't.
Not to get off.
Right, we didn't get all the way.
There was like a burning point that
I was off. Sorry. Somebody in the comments see what I'm saying.
So it's the best. Okay. Yeah, I was taking notes. So Cannon, I like how you brought up, all this being by design. We're talking about like, do people base their appearance on what other people think and how social media plays into that, all that. There was a TED Talk. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't even, I was trying not to like be too distracted while this conversation was going on. But like, there was even a TED Talk about that, about how like all the information based on your searches, based on your social media presence and all these things determine what shows up like in your Google results. So like if you Google something about, I don't know, the election, and someone who has totally opposite views of you Google something about an election, y'all will get different search results. Yeah. And like, that's problematic, right? So it feeds into whatever it feeds into whatever you want to think. It feeds into whatever you already think. And then you build up this wall of like, yeah, other people think this too. And then it makes this whole thing. And that's why I always stress reliable and valid sources of information. But I guess that's a whole nother topic. But in terms of people basing their opinion, their appearance off of like whichever gender they're attracted to, I really don't think that's always the case. I think it's becoming less and less of the case. And it's more and more of just a cultural shift in terms of sharing stuff online is just the norm. It's just a thing people do. Like,
right, because people share.
Yeah, but people who do like
They sharing their kids, they sharing their pets, they share
everything. Like
everything.
sometimes I'll be sitting up at night and I'll think something. I'll be like, man, I'm about to make a Facebook post. And I'm like, wait, why? Who cares? So
no, I've done it. I've written out a whole Facebook post before and then
been
just
like, wait,
deleted
why?
it and said, Kayla, you're stupid. Why are you doing this?
What's the point?
This is stupid. Like
Nicole, jump in. What do you think about the whole like social media dopamine?
I don't know if anybody saw the movie, The Social Dilemma, that documentary on Netflix. It literally talked about it literally talked about the algorithm and how like I think it was Facebook plays on people's need for social interaction. But it also kind of plays on their need for validation. So it talked about how if you don't post for a couple days, they decide they're going to send you a reminder. Hi, you haven't been to this site in a while. You haven't spoken to such and such in so long. Somebody sent you a friend request you haven't responded to yet. In other words, if they feel like you are getting too far away, they will intentionally do what's necessary to pull you back in. And then when you take that and you compound it with the fact that humans are social by nature, but a lot of people lack social skills. Like you have people whose entire lives are kind of predicated in the internet because they have no social skills, or they're like introverts, or they are really afraid to talk to people. They don't have the confidence to talk to people in real life. So people form entire communities virtually. And they may never meet these people, but there are entire communities formed, not necessarily from a sense of I want you to like me, as much as from a sense of this is the way that I get to be social. So like, okay, you see some everything on my page. I just talk about all of the everything. And when it comes to posting pictures, if you have men who say the wrong stuff, those are then the men that I don't talk to, because I'm not looking for that. Like I'm always looking for the conversation. I'm always looking to pick minds and examine mindsets. So I don't know that it's always about valid. For some people, of course. And honestly, I think that just as many men post for female validation as there are women posting for male validation, though no one wants to talk about that.
Yeah,
but you have just as many. Man, I had one Facebook friend. He posted every day the exact same pose, but with a different watch, so you could see the watch, and that he went to the gym, so you could see his muscle and his timepiece every day. And I'm just like, sir, never a caption, never a conversation, and just a watch and a muscle. Boy, if you don't get some kind of like,
I see you,
I just
sir. I see you.
Girl, all 12 of us see you every day. So
people post for, whatever reason. I'm not going to demonize men for doing that, because women do the same thing. I think that it, like we were talking about, it's just the nature of people now to just kind of post stuff, and it's just a thing. It's not necessarily looking for anyone.
I think it's also important to do a hiatus, though.
Yeah, every once in a while, do a little. I think so too. And like the whole insult of like, no one wants you doesn't like hit the way that people think it does. Because I get that
especially when
like,
it's not
random people will like message me. Like, can you imagine messaging someone that you don't know to tell them that no one wants them? And in my head, I'd be like, yes, because I already have a man, and I hope none of y'all want me. So it just hits
right. Leave me alone.
Like, so like when I'm thinking of people posting and stuff, I'm like, man, like I can't be the only one that's not looking for this, type of attention or whatever. So I just think that people post for different reasons, and we cannot say that just because a woman posts a pretty selfie or posts a picture of her at the beach or whatever, that she's like looking for some attention. Like, what?
She can't just be feeling herself.
And the thing is, attention from men is just, I don't think it's that hard to get. I don't think that like a woman has to do a lot. Like you don't have to.
They can't fathom it though, Kay.
So like when people say these things, I'm like, So y'all thought the only way that woman could get attention was to post a half naked. Like, I think she might have just wanted to, or maybe I don't know, but
maybe she just felt like she looked good as hell, and she only gonna look like this for so long.
Right.
Why don't we commemorate the time by getting a photo?
But I think that we can't discount how much social media gives people batteries in their backs and leads them to kind of interact and speak to people in a way that they wouldn't do in real life. Like it gives them a certain level of like anonymity and like distance from what they're doing. And so, I mean, people just be on their worst behavior on social media. Like,
but then if you see the same people in life, or like even if you talk to them or interact in comments, they don't have the same. The same.
Once you go back in the DM or you talk to them for real, the energy is different. But I think also people just say things because they want to get a reaction.
Yeah.
So all they really want is some kind of reaction. And you know what? Sometimes there are certain people who are genuinely fans, who are genuinely like there are people who I watch on YouTube, but I genuinely follow their story. And if you ever see me write something, it's genuine. I'm not trying to tear them down. I'm not trying to nothing like, but I do think that we all have to remember that our identity doesn't come in what other people think. It's not about what other people think about you.
Absolutely.
It's about what you think about yourself and what the people who really know you and really value you think. Because it's easy to write off like something that somebody says who doesn't know you. Like, oh, you're so-and-so. They don't know you. They're just saying whatever. But someone that really knows you to say something about you and you know they know you, that is what should carry the most weight and what should hurt the most versus like random people that you don't know, never met you. They're just saying stuff. You know what I mean? That's just what I think.
Well, we're probably going to segue.
Yes.
Into a closely related topic. I mean, we kind of talked about it, so this one might be quick and then we'll get to the next one. But are women objectified based on what they wear? So, I've seen a lot of social media conversations about this. I've talked about this in real life. Personally, I definitely think women get objectified based on what they wear, but I also think women are objectified regardless of what they wear. Like, there have been studies done about women being seen as objects. This is not just like my opinion. Look it up. Go to Google Scholar, do whatever you need to do. But women being viewed as objects is a thing, regardless of what women wear. But I can see how wearing certain clothing can exacerbate, that situation. So that is the question. Are women objectified based on what they wear? And add whatever context that you need.
I think that you are right when you said that women can be objectified based on how they're dressed, but they are just generally objectified. I know for a fact that it's mostly based on what their body type is, more so than how they're dressed. Because I've always been a very thin, very quote unquote bony, skinny girl. And I always worn pretty much whatever I want to wear. Like, and it's never been like, oh my, look at what she has on. Like, because I've just been so small and so skinny, right? But girls who are naturally bigger or more voluptuous, have larger hips, bigger butts, whatever, it really doesn't matter what they wear too much. People just tend to objectify them. Like, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was she was like an elementary school teacher, and people were like, it was I think she was here in Atlanta, and it was a black lady, and she just had a really nice shape. Like, she was just very shapely.
Oh, they were calling her Teacher Bae.
Yeah, and they were like, why is she dressed like that? And it's like, she just has on like normal clothes. She just has what you want her to do? Put on a freaking potato sack because she's shaped, in a curvy way? Like, she didn't have on anything inappropriate, but they were sexualizing her body type. Whereas if it were someone who wasn't as curvy, who had on that same stuff, they wouldn't bat an eyelash at it. So I think women get objectified more depending on what their body looks like. And I think it happens especially to Black women at younger ages, where they get, like I say, objectified and kind of over sexualized from a young age. Once they start to fill out, especially if they have certain shape and body types, then people just make everything, like just the way that they naturally look. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to try to go out of their way to downplay their bodies a lot of ways. So yeah, I see it all the time. Like my friends who just have like big butts and boobs and all that, they get identified way worse. And then that's just the way that their body is shaped. It's not like they're out wearing like shorts all in the crack of their butt or nothing like that. They just have on like jeans and a t-shirt and they still getting treated like that. So yeah.
Nicole, what do you think?
So the funny thing with me is I don't necessarily only think of objectification as sexual. And this is what I mean. Now, while I absolutely agree that women are, because I was literally going to use the Teacher Bay example. I literally was, Cannon. But I do know that women are sexually objectified, but there's a negative objectification, right? Like if they don't dress up, like if they're always in sweats, or if they don't know what style works for them, now they're frumpy. Now they don't want to be seen as sexy. Not every woman is living their life to be sexy to you. So I think there are multiple types of objectification, and I absolutely think that women are objectified. One of my best friends, she used to be like Triple H, I think. And I would tell her, like, because I was always like Cannon, like always smaller. So, when we got close enough to be vulnerable, I told her, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I wonder what it would be like to have a chest like yours. She said, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because I don't remember the last time a man looked me in the eye to have a conversation with me. I can't make men look up here. I have to always do this. I have to always tell them to look up here. And I know like that has to be irritating and beyond irritating after years and years, because she said she was developed at 13. So every time she goes out the door, regardless of what she puts on, regardless of how she tries to camouflage, a size like that, you're not going to hide, period. And you're going to get comments anyway. I don't know if you call them compliments, but they're going to always be the comments. But women are absolutely objectified based on what they wear, and not even just by men. And that's the crazy part, because I think each of us have something in our physicality that people focus on when they look at us. And sometimes they'll say stuff out of the way based on whatever part of your body that they like. So I think we've all experienced some sort of targeting or objectification, regardless of whether or not we were dressed provocatively. So yes, my short answer is yes.
Somebody in the chat, Nicole, said you can't be sexy to yourself. That's what they just said. That it's impossible.
What does that mean? How does that even work?
I beg to differ.
If I don't think
maybe it's a mild form of narcissism, but I definitely beg to differ.
Can you be attractive to yourself? Whoever wrote that, can you be attractive to yourself?
I gotta speak.
What
on
does that
this
even mean?
Because
what?
I do think you can be sexy for yourself.
Absolutely.
When I be looking good, I really like looking at myself. I have mirrors like all throughout my house, like everywhere, actually. And I'm not attracted to myself, but I find myself very attractive, and I like to look at myself. And there's days that I've just gotten cute to take pictures of myself. I mean,
it feels good. When you look good, you feel good. You be like, yes, like, do you see these cheekbones? Like, you be so happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
If it took you a prolonged amount of time to figure out that you are attractive, then sometimes like you walk by a mirror and you surprise yourself, like, that's right.
Damn,
that
you
is
look good, girl.
I like it. I am getting these heels. Yes, I love my legs in these heels. Yes, I will stand here and turn to all sides so I can see how these heels accentuate everything all the way up. So I'm so sorry for the person who is not sexy to themselves.
I know. I have, like I say, maybe it does have a lot to do with our social media society, and maybe it is a malform of narcissism. But I got a gang of pictures of my phone that are not posted. I do like to look at them. I
People only get less than 1% of the actual photos in my phone.
Was there a serious comment? Was there sarcasm or was that like
No,
for
I think
real?
they were serious. Let me see. Are they going to answer? I think they were
Nicole
serious.
said, "Is that sarcasm?"
I don't understand.
I don't know why there's such a
I'm
big thing
distressed.
about people being into themselves or like people like feeling confident in themselves. And it's crazy because, you know, like I love Kanye West and I always talk about this all the time. But like people thought the same thing about him when he, like they still think about it now when he just declares what the fuck it is. Like, I'm the one, not the two. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but there's
If I'm not doing it to your detriment, what's wrong with me liking the way I look?
there's some kind of energy around people that feel like if you're confident in yourself and if you speak that and if you give life to that in your words and how you move around, that you're somehow narcissistic or you're somehow like self-centered when you are just solid and confident in yourself. I just don't get I don't I don't understand really like why that is such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, should you not be proud of yourself and happy with yourself?
I don't know. I think and there may be people who don't experience it. Maybe they just find it hard to believe. Like, no, this is for somebody else. I don't know. You're doing this for somebody other than yourself. It's like, no.
So, like, if they can't,
I think that speaks to
themselves,
what we were talking about earlier. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Nicole.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just gonna say, I think it speaks to what we were talking about earlier. You know, like when you're socialized to have a specific mindset. And I understand the importance of humility because I try to retain a degree of humility, but I also understand the importance of confidence. I don't want confidence to border over into conceit, but there is a necessity to have a certain level of confidence in who you are, whether that's your appearance, whether that's your intellect. You have to be proud of something about you, if not everything about you. So I really am distressed that that person said you can't be sexy to yourself because I'm scared of what else. No, like for real, like I wonder what does that person think of themselves. I am, because what do you think about yourself? If you can't be sexy to yourself, what can you be? What can you be to yourself? That's my question to that person. If you can't be sexy to yourself,
like, how do you know if you look sexy if you can't think that like you look sexy?
Good.
I don't know. I guess you gotta wait for somebody else to come and tell you or something. I don't know.
You gotta wait for somebody to come let you know.
Then your friend a picture like,
hey, what you think? I don't know.
You think I look good, Kay?
But then you instantaneously believe somebody who says you're not.
You think you'll like it?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It all depends, Kayla, on what I say. If you send me, like, how does that even? What?
No, it's okay though. I do think that most people have a healthy balance of both, have a healthy balance of knowing their self-worth and it being about themselves and being happy with themselves and wanting to impress their partner. I think most mature adults understand that it's a little bit of both, that you're in the gym because you want to feel good and be healthy, but you also want to keep it tight for bae. We all get it.
Right. Well, you want to keep it tight for yourself, for your health,
for myself too. You know what I'm saying?
For your health in general. Like I you know, especially by me always being small, I've never really had to like work out and watch what I eat and all those other things. But as I got older, I did realize that especially have kids and things like that, you realize that you have to start taking better care of your actual health more so than just like what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like what you look like becomes an after effect of taking better care of yourself. I think that's how you
Right.
stay out of the quick fixes where people are like getting surgery and doing all of this stuff to try to look a certain way, but they're still not healthy. And you just focus more on just being a healthy person. And then once you do that, I feel like everything else flows from there. Like you just feel better. Like your skin looks better. Your like everything looks better. You feel better. Your mind is better. It's clearer. You know what I mean? And like you better able to do all the stuff you need to do. So it's not just about being vain. It's actually you should be taking care of your actual health.
Right.
You know what I mean? And focusing on that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super important.
And then I think
my mother was 45 when she died.
you look when you do that, you feel proud of it. You be like, oh, okay, look at me being healthy.
Yeah, and you be in the gym like, oh, y'all see that?
Right. Look at how healthy. You're feeling all good.
Nicole, what were you saying?
Your work. Guns. My mother was 45 when she died. She died from cancer. And I think that a large part of the cancer was born from her willingness to be what everybody else needed and at the expense of herself. So watching the powerhouse that she had been deteriorate into this shell while being fully cognizant of everything that was happening the entire time, I resolved right then, not me. So whatever that means for me, if that means eating healthy, that means making sure that I'm working out, that's it. And if me deciding that I'm going to stay healthy for me so that I don't lose my life that way ends up meaning that I look a certain kind of way when I go outside, then that's about me. That's not about me trying to, because women, she want to take your man. No, I just want to be alive. I just want to be alive. That's it today. Because I saw the alternative and I didn't like it. People make stuff so much bigger than it is on their own misery. Stop doing that.
That's real.
I did not mean for everybody to get quiet.
No, you're speaking. That's why we just are listening, because like hearing other women's perspectives is really important to me. I mean, we don't have to disagree to be talking about different things. I think accepting each other's differences and like listening and hearing each other out is where the enlightenment comes from, because sometimes it could just be that one thing that clicks in something for people. So I think that that's important for us to really chat that out. But I did want to kind of get into that the other part of the argument where we talk about a lot of these things that we speak about have a lot to do with how we're socialized as adolescents, right? So do you ladies, since you ladies are both parents, do you ladies, and let me put it in I'm gonna put it across here. Do you guys believe that there is a difference in parenting your children? Do you parent them different based on gender, based on personality? And if so, or just additionally, are boys easier to raise than girls, or are girls the easier ones?
Listen, don't ask me no question about these kids. These kids is stressful. All right.
Stressing you out, girl. Okay. Uh-oh.
She was serious?
It's
She froze on my screen.
Right. Are we back?
Yeah, okay. We all back. I was about to say, what happened? Yeah, we all
right. We just had a little spin. I think I was about to give away my age, so it was like cut off. But but my oldest son will be 20 May 1st. And then my daughter she'll be 5 in June. And
hey, June birthday.
Yes, mine too. She kind of tried to steal my thunder, but whatever. But I can say that I actually have raised them like drastically different, and mostly because I've been in drastically different spaces for them, and then I have a boy and I have a girl. but they are just vastly different individuals as well. So I don't really see how you could necessarily, it is like you kind of have to meet your children where they are, and so you don't necessarily treat every kid the same way because they have different needs because they're different people. And man, all I can say is it's hard raising kids, period. I don't know how it could be like easier or harder to raise a gender. Like they each have their own individual challenges that, no, it's hard. All of them is hard.
Both hard.
And especially, but I feel like even more so in this day and age when they do have so much access to so many outside influences. Like we've always been affected by our outside influences to a certain extent, but I think what happened in our household had more of a share. But I think now, since they do have just so much access to like just different things outside, it's so hard to keep them it's like you gotta just keep a hold on them, and that could be very difficult. So
sure
I don't think one gender is easier than the other, because for my son, to me, he was a very easy baby. He was an easy toddler, a little boy. So like everybody just was, oh, he's so mannerable. Oh, I love him or whatever. He hit puberty. He hit those teenage years. Listen, I told you I live in Atlanta. When I tell you this little boy used to be the most articulate, like people were like, oh my God, look at how well he speaks. Look at what he's doing. And like, I distinctly remember becoming a teenager, and there was a way that I used to speak with my friends, but then there was a way that I used to speak with my family called the code switch.
Yeah.
Except
for now, we only do it at work.
They didn't, he came straight home and was like straight TI. And I was like, what is this? Like, wait a minute, hold on. This never happened in the house. I don't know who this is. I don't understand what's happening right now. So, so he got me side-eyeing my baby girl right now because I'm just waiting for her to pull it, like I'm already ready, so I don't know. I can't say it's not, it's just hard, it's hard. And you just try to, the more I think about it, it's kind of terrifying to a certain extent, because you're trying to protect these kids. You're responsible for these kids. It's just hard all the way around. I don't know. Don't ask me no questions. Don't ask me for no parenting advice, okay?
Well, you're not making me excited. Not excited. No. I feel like I'm just joking with y'all. I was a nanny in college, so I love kids or whatever, but I do know it's going to be a patience. Going to be like Stormy Webster. Patience. Have y'all seen that video? No? Okay. Anyway,
Kayla, I cannot.
No. She's a very articulate 3-year-old. She's just like sitting there. Her mom told her to wait, and she's just like, patience. I'm like, what's going on? 3-year-olds don't do that. That's crazy. But anyway.
I hear a lot of people say that girls are easier. I mean, that boys are easier. And Nicole, I know you have all boys. So I know that a lot of people say that boys are easier. Personally, I think that people put less effort into boys sometimes, and that's why some people may think that boys are easier to raise. I was listening to what Cannon was saying while I was in the other room, and like that would be my thought. Like, kids in general, take a lot of work regardless of their gender. So Nicole, you as a mother of only boys, what do you think when people say that boys are easier to raise?
So I have 2 living sons, but my sister, who I'm very close to, has 4 daughters. So our children are, so my sons, Nigel will be 14 on the 21st, and then my other son will be 27 in November. So I have a gap like Cannon's. Listening to my sister talking about raising her daughter, the funny thing is that one of the complaints that I hear the most often is she's too much like me. So that leads me to think that sometimes the difficulty in raising your children is you're being faced with a smaller version of yourself. That was actually one of the things that I was told when my oldest son, Nathan, was probably about 8 or 9, and everybody has always advocated for my children against me. No, don't tell him. No, don't let him get in trouble. No, don't do it. Stop. Shut up. So, but with him, it was, why are you getting mad at him? He's just like you. And when I was made to look at it from that perspective, that kind of changed the way that I raised them, because it's then that you realize kids, for me, with these two male people that I have, if you give them an expectation, a set of expectations and boundaries, and you're consistent, they mine kind of stay within it. Like even the oldest, when he got old enough to leave, he was 19. And he was upset because I told him I needed him to stay at home and watch his brother so I could go to work. And he said, well, Mom, now mind you, I still live in Chicago. So y'all know how Chicago winters look. So he told me, well, Mom, I'm just leaving at the end of December. I said, well, Nate, you can leave at the end of the week. But before the end of the week comes, today you gonna watch your brother so I can go to work. So you have somewhere to stay. So he left that Friday. And he thought I was going to change my mind, because typically before then, whenever they would wait me out, if I would tell them they were on punishment or whatever, if they would give me a couple of days, they knew I would fall back off of it. So when the day came for him to leave, I didn't back up off of it. So when he left that Friday, he was back that Monday, and he was much better. He was okay. And whatever the house rules were, he followed them without me having to tell him anything. So sometimes it's just about them understanding that there's only so far that they can go with you. Because I had to be hard on my children because I have males in Chicago and I want them to be okay. So because I was mom myself, I didn't, because I was unmarried mom, because I had an amazing support system. My family is incredible. But I wasn't able to be the nice, sweet, kind mom. I had to be the boy mom in Chicago. So I had to be hard on them and let them know that this is how the world is going to treat you. I love you here, but out there, this is how they're going to treat you. And so I think that that transparency and that honesty that we have in our relationship kind of makes things easier. And they're both scarily protective. The thing I think is the issue with girls is the estrogen mix, because with guys, it's the balance of testosterone and estrogen with my sons, I think. I don't know what it is with girls, but I watch my family with their daughters, and the girls, they get mouthy a little sooner than the guys, and they get very testy sometimes. And I don't know. I don't know if it's easier to raise one or the other, as much as that is different, like Candace said earlier. I don't know. I think for me, these two, they're super easy. Like I just make sure that they get where they have to go, and they kind of handle the rest. So,
Cannon, were you about to say something?
No, I was.
I saw you kind of making a. I was like, is she about to say something?
Yeah, because you guys are the resident mothers, so we're giving it to you. But I do think that I was a kid and I had a mother or whatever. So, I do think that there is something with the female energy. I don't know if it's as a woman, as a girl's getting older and start coming into herself. I don't know if it's like you can't have two queens in one castle. I don't know if y'all have heard that before, but that is something that growing up is like a thing. Like there's only one woman around this house that runs stuff around this house, and it's me. It's not you. You get to live here for free,
But like I
did notice that when I was a teenager, there was.
But I think that I was actually having a conversation with another a father or whatever, right? in relation to his relationships with his teenage daughters, like young adults, like 19, 20, like in that age group or whatever. And he was talking about a lot of challenges that he was having as far as, trying to get them set up for their future and wanting to get them to do things, like the right way and certain things and stuff like that. And through our conversation and just the more you talk to other parents, especially parents of teenagers, I just think that that's par for the course, no matter what gender you have, because I think like everybody says it. They're like, oh, those teenage years they was rough, because I think that you're stuck. Well, you're kind of in a place where children, for one thing, like they're not children anymore. Right. And so they're trying to transition into being more autonomous, trying to figure out things for themselves and become the person that they are and be more independent and trying to be adults, you know what I mean? A lot of them earlier before they could actually be adults. But I also think that we infantilize our children longer than what used to happen. Like we're like all helicopter parents these days. We just don't want them to skin their knee. Don't want, you know what I'm saying? We trying to guard them from like everything. So I feel like we try to hold on to them a lot longer too. But I think that that's something that happens no matter what gender it is, that kids start to want more freedom and more autonomy and more whatever. But a lot of times us as parents, we have a hard time realizing our kids are even older, right? Like we always look at our kids like, you could probably agree, Nicole, like our kids are our babies.
Absolutely.
Like they don't, and we're so close to them, we don't necessarily recognize the growth. This is like with anybody that you're around a lot, but especially with your kids, like your kids, like my daughter now, like I be looking at her all the time, like, why is she so big? Like sometimes I just notice like how much bigger she's like in my mind, she's still like an infant. Like I'm like, why am I not?
That's so real, yo. That's so real.
Happening? Like I don't understand like why she's so big. So we have a hard time, I think, as parents transitioning to understand like how much kind of to let them have that autonomy or whatever. And then I especially feel like, we kind of grew up in a time where it's like everything I say is law. Like I'm right. Like any type of dissension is disrespect, So it's like we kind of got that too. Like you ain't gonna tell me what to do in my house. So I think that's just right. That's really like I say it's a power struggle, which I think is just it's par for the course. But I think like the way you navigate it is what's going to be most important for how you're going to reorganize that relationship once they become adults, because it changes. Because even if we think about how our relationships are now, probably with our parents versus especially those teenage years, it was real touch and go for a minute.
And especially if the person that they're becoming doesn't match the person you wanted them to become. Yes, like if their life path veers off the one that you had set for them, and it looks and oh my God, if it looks like the path that they're going down is going to get them hurt. If you know you can't act like that, stop. No, you want punishment. If you mean you're gonna go with them, you're not going outside. But Ma, no, you're not gonna go outside because I'm not coming to pick you up from jail because you didn't listen to me. So yeah, the protectiveness of the mom. And if Nigel comes in here right now, my son he's standing over me. And when he talks, like my adult female friends ask me who he is. And not with the curious voice. It's with the, ooh, girl, who is that? No, don't
know. Oh, no, sweetie.
Don't. Stop. He just got a girlfriend yesterday. So listen to their conversations. I'm just like, oh.
You know what? I guess that's
yesterday.
But at the same time, I guess that's me. I'm kind of selfish on the flip side because I don't feel like I really experienced that type of a thing. That would probably freak me out. I'll probably be fighting somebody, like, excuse me. Because my son has always been kind of like, he's like small. Like he'll be 20, but he like my size. Like he's like cute. You were like, oh, he's so cute. They're not like, ooh. Like, oh my God, I'll probably just be fighting people. I don't know. Grown ladies, like, you better get off my baby.
Not grown ladies.
For real. Like, absolutely. I now, like, when you just said that, like, I've never literally had that experience. I wish one of my man.
With both of my sons, both my sons have very deep voices. They both have very deep voices. So once their voices drop, and people didn't know I was home with my kids. That's like, oh, girl, who is that? Girl, don't make me take that earring off when you asking about my. That's my. Don't do that. When is he gonna be 18? I will put you in jail today. What are you talking about? So
seriously, that's like they're
it's a
always
thing.
our babies forever. So it's just hard, I
Yes,
think, to make that
absolutely.
transition. But what I've been learning more and what's into right now, like my daughter, she stays busy. She's not gonna have no free time for nothing. So I don't know. We gonna try that. We gonna see how that works out. Like she's in like gymnastics, ballet, like she's like doing everything. Like so we shall see how that works. And then it's also even trying to because you have to try to be careful at how much you like you said, Nicole, how much you want them to do versus like who they want to be, you know? But it's kind of a weird balance because it's like you kind of got to grasp that thing early too if you want to like support them in certain things. So like if it's things like sports or music or like no matter what it is, it's like you have to kind of try to guide that early, but you do want to be careful that you're not putting your own desires onto it because then they'll probably rebel later. So it's just, man, I didn't know one easy answer out here with these. I don't think people should have kids. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Kayla's like, what? She's like, where did that?
I was like, no, I thought I knew you, Shannon. Wait.
You learn new things every day. Don't
No,
you?
I
Every
always think
single
a lot of
day.
the time it really is scary having kids though, because sometimes like I literally am terrified, wake up in cold sweats, just being concerned about the safety of my kids. Like it's crazy to be that concerned about another, but like you're responsible. Like oh my God, I could not imagine if something happened to one of my kids. Like, but it's so terrifying. So it's like terrifying at the same time because Jesus.
And the crazy thing is we were talking about the social media aspect of it earlier, and there was danger before there was social media. You know, there were men in white vans saying, "Come see my puppy," before there was social media. And it's a matter of educating your children on everyday living as well as on social media and keeping the doors of communication open. I asked a group of the kids in my family one day, I was like, what is something that you could tell your mother or father right now that would blow their minds about what happens at school? And at this time they were like seventh and eighth grade, and they were talking about how kids pop pills at school and about how the staff at the school is having sex with the kids at school, or how the kids are having sex with each other at school and the staff doesn't stop them. Right, like that. That's the face. That's the face. Because that was my face. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And they said, yeah, that happens every day. So, and for them, I'm like, maybe after that initial shock, if they don't share that initial shock,
this is good
they
stuff.
just get used to it. So it's no big deal for them. They just know I better not do it. My mama better not find out about it.
Right? Ooh, that sounds like something I would say.
I know. That's what I mean. These newfangled
my
kids.
mama ain't play them games.
I would tell my son all the time, like, I would be like, dude, why are you getting caught? Like, now you're in trouble. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, y'all are crazy out here. Like, y'all don't even know how to, like, not get, you can't even be smart about what you're doing. Like, you're insane.
Right. Yeah. I just tell mine, whatever it is, you can come talk to me.
Do you all think that, because Nicole, you brought up something earlier about Chicago and like Black boys and, you know, specific things that might need to be said just based on, you know, how we know that it is out here. Do you all think, you know, as mothers that you have a higher level of concern for boys because of, you know, certain things as it relates to, I don't know, the police, society, how Black boys are viewed versus, you know, Black girls may be viewed, even though Black boys and girls are viewed in a way that's problematic as it relates to society a lot of the time. But do you all have like a specific concern, I guess, more about boys because of all the things?
can't. I was about to say absolutely, but then I remember it depends on what type of daughter you have, because you have girls out here who will go up to men and punch them in the face. I can't talk about girls in other states, but in Chicago, you have girls who are abrasive, who are rude, and who are caustic, and are sometimes more likely to get into altercations than the boys. But at the same time, the boys are typically, I think the boys are more quickly targeted than the girls. Nathan and I were walking across the street one night, and my son has a temper. And he has a temper that is not helped because he's very aware of what's going on around him. So him being aware of police brutality and like racial discrepancies and stuff like that, they add to his temper. So we were crossing the street one night in the middle of the street, and a SUV was coming down the street, and it blew at him. He's like, what are you doing? You know, that whole kind of thing. And it was the police. So we crossed the street, we finished crossing the street, and the police followed us into the gas station because we were just walking to the gas station. Police followed us into the gas station and took him outside. They followed him into the store and took him back outside and handcuffed him and had him face down on the truck by the time I came outside.
Oh, wow.
And they were saying, he didn't have an ID. And the policeman was like an older white guy. And he told him, I could take your ass to jail right now. And he said, the only reason, because, I just broke. Like, I just started shaking and I was crying. And I knew I couldn't do anything because I didn't want to make a bad situation worse. I didn't want to have the wrong reaction. But this is my baby. And I was like, this is why I told, because before the police came and got him, I said, Nathan, that's why I told you. You can't just react because you don't know what's going to happen because your temper is bad. So when I come out and now he's on the car, the police said, the only reason you're going home right now is because of how your mama standing there crying. And it was just like, I just wanted to go to the ATM. And he walked with me because it was dark and he didn't want me to go outside by myself. And that's what it ended up getting us. So I think it's necessary that both our boys and girls be warned and be made very aware. But I do think that there's at least a marginally higher rate of danger for our boys than for our girls.
I think that they are unique concerns, but I don't have a different level of concern. Like, oh, I'm more concerned about my son than I am about no, it's just different types of concerns because they engage in the world differently. So they have their own unique things to be concerned about. Like for my son, even if we're not just talking about the extreme of physical danger or harm, it's like my manner with him is making sure that he is able to take care of himself in a way, like I say, and because he also is smaller, he's a smaller kid, but to make sure he didn't have that Napoleon complex where he felt like he had to overcompensate in all of these ways because he was smaller. So it was very important for me to instill self-confidence in him for that. And then my daughter is super important for me to make sure that that I raise her in a way that she has a different type of self-confidence, right? Where she's not, where she doesn't just go along to get along because she's a girl. Like, oh, you have to be quiet. Oh, you have to do this because they said so. No, I really work really hard to try to make sure that her concerns are heard, right? That it's not just dismissed oh, just do this anyway because whatever. Because I feel like that's what leads girls into just being more just to go with the flow with a lot of things, a lot of situations where they shouldn't. So it's so it's kind of those two, things that for my boy and for my girl, but they're just unique things that they both face. I feel like
so it's just different.
It's just different, but it's not more than the other.
That's what I was told. My mom said it's not one or the other, or better or easier. It's just two different people.
It's just different. And I think even when we look at, even for those who don't have kids, or even if we look at our siblings, whatever, like people are different too. Like I have a sister, like me and my sister are nothing alike. Like we also grew up in like we're like 12 or 13 years apart. So we also grew up in like different generations. So it's like my mother can't deal with my sister the same way she's going to deal with me, even though we're both girls, because we're two totally different types of people. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, the chat is open. Callers, you can come up for our last section of the show. Don't be scared. Let your voice be heard and click that link.
I mean, they got a lot to say in the
things
chat
that I use on my clubhouse days, you know. Yeah, I thought it was appropriate for now. So we'll see if some people want to come join us for our last section.
Cannon, people in the chat. And then
that's why I say they're real vocal in the chat. They got a lot to say in the chat.
I need to find the chat. Let me see what's going on in this chat. Let me.
Look who's getting in the chat. Oh no.
Look, Cannon's been watching. She's like,
yeah.
I'll stay away if I can.
Got my good eye. Got my good eye. No.
Yep. Yeah, this has been really fun, ladies. I am so happy when we can just talk and like it doesn't have to be like
a fight.
Somebody trying to like make something be a thing and like go off on someone and make someone feel like they don't know anything. Or we can just share what we think, what we've experienced in our walk of life.
Yeah. The thing is that a lot of these conversations that we have tend to be subjective to a certain extent. So they are mostly based in experience and perspective. So it's like, it's not a lot of times a concrete, like, oh, that's wrong. Like, I don't even be understanding. Sometimes like
people love saying an opinion is wrong. I'm like,
yeah, like, right. That's what I mean. It's just an opinion. It's a perspective.
And you'll be like, my favorite color is red. And I'm like, you're wrong. Like, what?
Oh my gosh.
You'll be like, my mom used to do this. And I'm like, you're wrong. Like, what? How? I don't know.
So many
That's
people.
An opinion is definitely a third grade lesson.
I mean, I think so many people don't understand that their perspective is just their perspective and their opinion. They think that the way that they view the world is the way that the world is, instead of just their perception of the world, which is different for everybody based on what they've experienced. Like that's how they're going to filter all everything that they have through their, through their personal experience, and they're going to view it that way. But a lot of people think that their experience is the experience. They're like, no, this is how life is. It's like life is a lot of different ways. A lot of different people.
It's different for everybody. Ooh.
Right.
Y'all ain't know. Oh, snap.
Out here.
And it's different if you're talking about things that are like hurting people or detrimental to, whatever. But just
agree.
Regular everyday opinions, like I don't know. It's strange. I'm not used to having conversations where people act like that about opinions. Like usually people are open to hear other people's opinions. You learn from each other, you gain a new perspective. Right. You might not come to an understanding, and that's fine. Like, or maybe you do, and that's fine too. Like, yeah. So this whole thing is, since being out in these YouTube, this YouTube world has been very different.
Yeah, but that's always been kind of one of my favorite things to do.
Okay.
When engaging with people, I like to ask people questions, and I like to understand their experience. I like to understand people's experiences, which lead them to view things the way that they do, because that helps me just better understand. And a lot of times when you get people's experiences, then you understand why they view things the way that they do. You're like, oh, okay, I can see that. Like me coming from a household with having a bunch of siblings, I'm not going to have the same perspective on things maybe as somebody who's an only child. Right. And so they may say something, I may say something. And if I ask, I'm like, hey, and I start asking them questions, and I'm like, oh, you're okay. So that's why you view that way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's like, and it's to be expected. So like I say, it's like, it's not right or wrong, but so many people are emotionally invested in these things. And a lot of it I do think is projection. And I think a lot of people haven't even really investigated for themselves. A lot of people lack self-awareness. Okay, period. And they haven't even investigated for themselves why they think the way that they do. They just think that it just is. They're just like, oh, this is the way it is. It's like, no. That is the way you view it. And why do you view it that way? And like, if you really are asking them questions, some people can't even answer.
I mean,
they're
it
like,
could be true in their world.
I was about to say, and that's the other part.
World,
when you're talking with people who don't know how to effectively communicate, that's problematic too. Because just because you know what you mean doesn't mean that you convey it in the way that I know what you mean. Right. So now I can only talk about what I think, because you're not able to tell me what you think, and then you're upset with me because I don't know what you meant. I just heard what you said.
The pet peeve, man. People be like, oh, you know what I mean. I don't know what you mean. I know what you said. I'm not in your brain with you.
Right.
I'll be speaking English.
And then when you tell them that, then they upset again.
So since we're kind of, winding down, depending if anyone comes, they don't have to.
I know, if no one comes, I mean.
I thought they were going to, because a lot of people are talking so much in the chat. But
I know, I thought that we would have. We'll give them another few minutes to see if they want to come up, but
like, while
I think it goes back to that anonymity that they get to have in the chat, as opposed to coming up and saying something.
while we're waiting, and maybe we'll be waiting until we get up out of here, but yes. I saw in the Facebook group today somebody said something like, any woman who says that she's single by choice is lying, something like that.
Oh God.
And I thought it was really interesting because I think they asked a question around it. I don't want to misquote the person, but they asked the question like, if a woman says they're single by choice, are they lying? Something like that. That. And I said, no. I mean, it depends. Like, a lot of women have no desire. Oh, look at the cat. A lot of women have no desire to be in any type of romantic relationship, intimate relationship, nothing. A lot of men, same thing. I mean, people just, there's a spectrum of what people want. And some people don't want anything romantic or intimate or anything like that. And it was just funny to me that, not funny, haha, but funny, like odd, that people have such a hard time even being able to fathom that someone else might not feel the way that they feel.
Ooh,
like,
I've told my husband this on several many occasions that if he and I weren't together, like if it wasn't me feeling about him the way that I do, and us being friends and like me being committed to him in particular, no, I'm not just out here thirsty to like be in relationship, because it is a lot of freaking work. I'm like, no, I don't see that as being.
People get
the other part of it is that has never been a motivator or a driver for my life to be like, you know what? One thing that I want to do is be in a relationship. Like, it's a part of being social, right? Or being like, oh, I'm with this person. I like this particular person, whatever. But it's never been like, some people have like those check marks, like those boxes. They're like, I got to be in a relationship. And they just try to find people to fit into that box. Like, I never had that. Like, I find people, and then I'm like, okay, this person I want a relationship with, not I want a relationship. Let me find a person that I can get into one with. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, because
some people would rather not have a relationship than be in like just any old relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's like I can definitely see how people could be like, you know what? No, I don't want the trouble. Because
and some people know that at their time in their lives, they're not relationship material.
Or that too.
You're not always ready to be in a relationship.
But I mean, being in a relationship does require a certain amount of sacrifice too, and selflessness, and
Absolutely.
you know, thinking about the other person and all those things. So you have to be really committed to doing that for real, and it have to be with somebody who
Yeah.
worth it. Like nobody's just
Right.
out here just trying to just like, let me find somebody so I can sacrifice my life. Like, no, like if you catch me, you catch me. Like my husband caught me. He got me.
Right. But again, it goes back to what we said at the beginning. This society has been socialized to say there's something wrong with you if you don't want relationship, and it's so ingrained into men because they're supposed to be husbands, so we're supposed to want to be wives. I'm not ready. But I mean, you know, then well, never mind. Just never mind. It's a never-ending rabbit hole in Catch-22, so never mind.
So again, if you want to come up in the back, come on up as we're winding down tonight. Okay, we got one for the night. Thanks.
Hey.
What's up, Daylor?
What's up? What's up?
How
How you
feeling?
I like the name.
It's not my real name, but you know, it is what it is.
It was just saying that she liked him.
So I missed the beginning of the conversation, so I'm sorry. But I heard towards the end. I heard what you guys were talking about towards the end, and
What are you gonna give a?
Wait, what?
Oh,
I didn't miss the beginning of the. I didn't start the live, but I heard like the last 10 minutes, and what I heard Kay was talking about was people not wanting to be in a relationship. I used to think that way, but
whoa, you just got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I was sleeping. I was like, you know what, let me join y'all.
I'm glad you popped out of your sleeping, and just came straight.
I'll trade you because are you serious?
Awesome.
Is that a bad thing? I thought you guys.
No. Why would we think it was a bad thing that you're supporting our show? Like,
of course. What do you mean?
But of course, it's a bad thing.
No, I'm saying no.
Of course, we're happy to have you here.
Oh. So I don't know what the topic is, but I heard the last comment that Kay made about not everyone wanting a relationship and things like that. So I was like, I was gonna agree with you, but I thought about it, and I'm saying that, man, life is way too expensive now. Inflation is up 8%. So I think it makes economic sense to be in a relationship.
But do you see how there's two different things that you're answering, and like you're saying it makes sense. I cannot with your cat. You're saying that it makes financial sense. Okay, yes. Cool. We can agree. But you're saying you disagree with me that not everyone wants what? I think sometimes people just want to disagree with me because what are you disagreeing with? Daylor, are you saying there are no people that don't want a relationship? You're disagreeing with me, huh? Like I'm trying to figure it out.
Why are you picking on that disagree part? It's not
because you came in here saying that.
Oh no,
you've seen the show, I'm sure.
It's not that serious. Like I don't have. I'm just like I was agreeing with you. Then I said, I think that most people might want a relationship. You know, I think that it makes
to save money.
Yeah. You don't think so?
No, I pay. I pay for everything.
Daylor,
men do.
Daylor,
men
you
do because they get like built-in chef, cook, assistant, all these different things when they get married.
I don't know what you guys must be rich though, but because every time I look at my grocery bills, this gets too expensive.
No, I think that having that mindset is like kind of the problem going into relationships. Because
so?
why would you even want to be in relationships of like financial reasons like that? So because
who doesn't?
Because people feel like beholden and like trapped to be like, oh, I gotta save money, so let me work on this relationship. Like that's like no. And then so what happens if one of y'all do end up getting more money? Then y'all gonna break up because you're like, I don't need you no more now. I'm good. I can afford my bills now. Like what is that's like crazy. No, that's a ridiculous thing to be. In 2022, I just don't think we need to be basing our relationships on that. because that's
Really?
not sustainable.
I agree.
No, I don't think that that's sustainable. Like, because
Has to be deeper than that.
Yeah, there has to be more than that. It has to be some type of higher responsibility, like not just finances. Because that's kind of like using people. Like that's like you. Like what is that? Like I need to get me somebody so I can save some money. Like that's like crazy.
So Daylor, as a man,
that's actually weird.
Daylor, do you think that as a man that you can't just live your life without a woman because of financial reasons?
No, but and my life would be a lot easier if I had someone else to, you know.
So then maybe if you are in that situation, instead of focusing on dating, you should figure out how to get yourself in a financially stable situation where you can take care of yourself.
Wait, I didn't say I wasn't financially stable. Who wants to pay more? Because I want to save more money. The goal is not to spend your money when you have spent all your money. Who goes into life like that? Yeah, I'm stable, but if I have someone else taking care of things, I don't know if you guys know this. Again, inflation is up by 8%. It's a lot more expensive for.
We all live.
Yeah.
We all buy things. Everyone notices what's going on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think for me personally, if I was going to get into a relationship, it has to be for financial reasons, right? It has to make sense to me. I have to know, okay, this person's coming to live with me, right? Like I'm going to save this amount of money on bills. Why are you guys laughing? You don't think about it.
Wow. I don't even know. Are you for real?
Wait, hold on.
This is going to get you. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think somebody said, I think good point. Why don't you just get you a roommate then?
Yeah, get a roommate.
No, I don't want a roommate.
Why?
Why don't you just hire like a service?
No.
No, he don't want to spend extra money.
Yeah.
So why can't you just get like get a couple roommates? Like y'all can
I still want to feel that theme. I want a woman. I want someone to be with. I want to have kids. I want things like that. I want a family.
So you just want a woman to help you with the bills and to bear your children.
This is crazy.
Hey, she gotta have your kids and she gotta help you with the bills. You already gotta put. Oh, geez.
But listen, if I have, let's say, is it not better than me going to be a baby daddy, right? Is it not better that I have someone in the house that we're splitting, not splitting the bill per se, but she's paying.
Having someone in the house, you could be in the house with your mom. We're supposed to be more than that,
right?
No, I want children too.
Okay, so you want a woman to have children and to help you with the bills.
I think you guys are frowned upon the fact that like it's cheaper to have someone else in the house to contribute financially. That makes sense. Why does it sound like what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that
understands that, but the problem is,
I'm just saying that shouldn't be like your motivator for like wanting a relationship to be like, oh, so I can save money. Like, I mean, guess what's even cheaper? Not having kids.
Well, but I do want kids though. But I do want kids. But I don't have it for myself.
But what I'm saying is here, like you want kids, right? Because you want kids. You want a woman to help make your bills cheaper, not because you want a woman for any other reason other than to have those kids that you want.
I mean, okay. We all know that you want to marry a woman, you like her, that, you know, I believe the love and all that good stuff. Yeah, but the most important part is the fact that she has to be financially stable too, because you want to build a family. Why does this sound strange?
It's not that.
I've never heard a man say he was getting married. He was only getting married for financial reasons. I've never heard that.
Really? Daylor, the way you entered the conversation was the part that sounded strange. I think it took you a few takes to like get your thoughts together and like come up with what you were trying to say. I think what you're trying to say, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that a double income household, you know, has more money than a single income household.
English is not my first. You're right. English is not my first language, so it took me. Well, you're right.
Well, let's not do that because that's not you. Look. You came in to say you disagreed with me, and you went on to say, and now you're talking about English is okay.
It's not so sometimes it's hard for me to explain, but you got it right. So what I'm trying to say is that 2 incomes in the household is better than 1 income. Yeah, you got it right. And you know, I'm not that.
No, I mean that's understandable, but I think like what you were trying to come in and do was like come in with this point about like I disagree and this is why blah blah blah.
No, I wasn't. I honestly wasn't trying to.
And honestly, you speak English very well.
It's not my first language. Sometimes it gets hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got it right. What I was trying to say, what you said, and I have to be honest and say sometimes I think in my native language, and sometimes when I say it, sometimes it doesn't come out the same way. Yeah. So that's what happens. Yeah.
What's that on the back? Are you studying for a test? What's that back there?
So this is my job. There's something called, it has to do with, I have like
That's his budget.
No.
I think you were maybe studying. I don't know.
It's IT. I mean, I work in IT, so like I have to write things on the board.
Flow chart.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, Jira, something like that. Yes.
Jira.
I was wondering. I was just.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh Jesus, that just stressed me. I don't even.
Yeah, it stresses me out. I'm sorry.
God.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm definitely going to go back and listen to your shows. To this show, I listened to the last one at the gym last week, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll go back.
Thank you for supporting.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
Don't be pressured to just disagree with me no matter what.
I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Whenever people start off on that foot, it doesn't really go well because then I start asking, what do you disagree with? They don't have an answer. And it just becomes a whole thing. So you don't have to do that.
You wanted
but thank you for supporting, though.
You're welcome. All right.
Call back next week.
Right.
Bye. Hi, James.
Hey,
Hello.
James. How's it going? Welcome to the show.
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
What do you have to contribute tonight?
So I actually didn't catch the show, but I did go back. So one of the things I saw was I guess losing yourself when you have when you get married and you have kids. And I believe Kay and Kayla, you guys kind of agreed, and you said something regarding you kind of have to know yourself before, right? Something like that. You gotta have a sense of self.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I guess Miss Cannon, and then she said something regarding like I guess each situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is like is what's the negative in I guess losing yourself within having a kid and marriage? Like I mean finding yourself within that.
You asking me?
Oh no, I'm just general.
What
so
is
I know
okay.
Were you listening, Cannon?
Yeah.
Were you, okay. All right, go ahead, Cannon. You can go first then.
I just wanted him to clarify the question. Like I heard the question, but can you clarify for me?
So essentially, I guess I'm agreeing with you regarding like I guess it's different, but what's the negative in losing yourself within rather than finding yourself prior to it? What's the negative to growing within those responsibilities?
Like you mean like not knowing yourself and then learning yourself while you're in the middle of it? Is that what you're asking?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, and
because I mean the dynamic I'm coming from is regarding the fact that we're consistently changing, so growth is like inevitable. So within that, like I guess the dynamic I'm saying is that is like a beginning stage, right? It's a new phase. So what's the negative in adjusting as you go opposed to being ready, which in some cases there's going to be different dynamics that get thrown at you. So it's like you're still going to have to adjust somehow.
Yeah, no, I think that there is no such thing as being like ready. I mean, you can be more financially stable. You can be like I was saying, I was kind of agreeing to Kayla's point and things like that. You can be more self-aware. You can be all of those things. But I really don't think that there's I'm ready, because like you say, that generally is how life works. A lot of times you have experiences and sometimes you don't know what those experiences will do to you. You don't know how you will change. You don't know how your perspective, perception changes over time. I mean, you literally have no idea. Like, you don't know what types of things could even be thrown at you while you're in a relationship. Like, can have deaths in the family. You can have all types of things that can happen that could drastically change the way that you view the world and you view yourself. Like, how do you plan for that? Like, how do you plan for, let's say, for instance, if you lost a child or you lose a pregnancy, or how do you be like, oh, this is how I'm going to be if this happens? Like, you don't know. You may be depressed for 3 years and not even be aware that, like, nobody plans for that. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's just, how life works. Like, you just have to go through it, and you generally grow through it. But I think that you should be aware enough to still have things for yourself is what I mean. Like, everything shouldn't just be tied up into those titles. Any title, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a job title, whether it's like I say, title of mom, wife, no matter what it is. Like, everything that you are shouldn't be tied up into those one thing, because then when that one thing is not either maybe it's not working out like you need it to work, whatever, it's gonna crush your whole soul. Because you know what I mean, because like that's all you are putting your whole entire identity into, and you don't really have anything else. So I guess that's kind of the point that I was trying to make. But I don't think that it's a way that you can just be like, I'm prepared for whatever's coming. Like, I just don't think you can think you prepared, but this one thing this life will teach you is sit down somewhere.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, James, I was thinking about, like, when you first came on, you were kind of talking about what you heard us saying. And yeah, I remember, like, in the conversation, we all kind of had different perspectives. I know that I think that you should keep parts of yourself, but you're going to change as a mother, as a wife. These are going to be new things. Like Cannon said, you're not necessarily going to be completely prepared, and that's okay. Like, these will now be parts of you that you didn't have before. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing for your identity as a wife or your identity as a mom to become now parts of you, because they are. But I also don't think that you should let those parts of you be the only parts of you. I think that's where it kind of can cause a problem. Like, if you put your whole identity in your husband or your kids, I think, from what I've witnessed, I mean, this might not be the same for everyone, but from what I've witnessed, people who do that end up resenting someone or having some type of problem. You have to keep some things that made you happy before. Maybe you were a painter, or maybe you played guitar, or maybe you wrote poetry. You can't just put all of that to the side forever. Now, will there be times where you will be putting certain things to the side? Absolutely. You're going to, use your discernment and figure out what you're doing, but just leaving everything that made you happy behind and just saying, you know what, I'm a blank slate and I am going to just fit this mold of whatever. I think that is where it becomes problematic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't see it from that perspective. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I think your question was good. Like, what makes it bad? Because what makes it bad? I mean, I agree that those things become part of you too. So it's not a bad thing.
Okay. Makes sense. Are you guys coming to Houston?
Makes sense.
Something to that?
Some people. Oh, Nicole, go ahead. Nicole,
I just wanted to say there's also the possibility of jealousy. And what I mean is, if you're a mother and a wife who makes sure that your children are well rounded and they're taking part in a whole lot of activities, or goes to play ball, or they have their stress relief vehicles, and you don't have one, then there might come a time when you're like, I want to go out. I want to hang out with the girls. I want to do this, but I want to do something. I don't know what it is that I would like to do, because all I do is mom and wife. So when my husband and my kids are gone at the same time, I don't know what to do, because there's no me. I want to do something because they're always so happy when they come back in, but I don't know what to do because they're all I know. So then they come in and they're happy and they're refreshed, and you're just stuck. And after, at first it's okay because you're happy that your people are happy. But then after a while, it's like, well, I want to be happy too. I want some relief too. My stress is building. I don't have stress relief. I don't have an outlet. And the funny thing is, if you finally find an outlet and you engage, they'll then be happy for you because you're happier now. If that makes.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. By the way, I look forward to meeting you guys in Houston. I'm still wondering, are you coming, by the way, Kay?
Me?
Yes.
Hold on. Alexa's saying something. I need to stop her. Hold on. Okay. She was just like, what do you want to play next? I'm like, there were no songs. I was so confused. But am I coming to Houston? No.
Oh, no.
I have something to do.
Makes sense. I look forward to seeing the team, though. I think Kayla's coming.
Yeah, she is. Everybody else will be there. I'm just not.
Nice.
Except for Precious K.
I have things to do, but
He has some more important things to do.
That was good. I guess.
But anyway.
Yep, I'm listening. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I thought Kayla was about to say something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm letting y'all have this one. I just had to interject on that one part that was important enough.
You're in Houston, James?
I'm in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
That's only like a 3-hour ride. You could ride up for the weekend. Come see us.
I live in Houston.
Oh, you live in Houston? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, my family lives in Houston. I live in Dallas, but.
So
are you going to the show?
Am I gonna see you?
Of course.
Okay.
Good.
By the way, I was
take pictures on the step and repeat on the red carpet. Okay.
I might.
You're what kind of teacher?
I did like a STEM program. I would say 2018.
Cool.
I guess like for 13, 14-year-olds. So you're one of my favorite panelists because I think the way you kind of orchestrate your words, it makes sense as a teacher because I was a teacher's assistant, and in doing that, you kind of understand the fragility of your word. So the way it affects people. Huh?
I said, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
It's important because sometimes the subtle things you say could either break or make someone. So sounds good. Hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You do the same. And thank you for supporting.
Appreciate you so much.
We'll see you in Houston.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Y'all, I'm really looking forward to the show. I think it's going to be a really good time meeting and, all of our family that like to follow the channel and that subscribe and that watch. So I'm super excited. And I heard there's going to be some super spicy topics that we get to talk about in person. You guys, I'm excited. And I'm ready to
spicy.
eat.
Y'all gonna be getting
I'm ready to
spicy?
eat too, because you know how food is in Houston. Oh, yes. So I'm ready. I think it's gonna be so fun. I'm really excited.
Kayla, do the shout out, do the plug.
Yes, September 23rd. Once again. Oh wait, sorry, April 23rd. I said September. Damn, I am trying to move, right? Okay.
I'm back to school. Okay.
23rd, which is in 2 weeks. This Friday is Good Friday. This Sunday is Easter. And then the show will be this Saturday after that. Again, the 23rd, Houston, Texas. Tickets are on sale. About 75% of the tickets are gone. There's really a small amount of tickets left. So get them because there's no way that we can increase them. There's a capacity. So get the tickets, you guys. We'll see you there. I'll see you on the red carpet. And it's going to be super fun. So I'm glad to plug that in. And there is also, I think, one or two more slots left in the sponsorship opportunity. So if you want to sponsor the channel, sponsor the live event, get some exposure for your business, get your services out there and be able to talk about it. There's some great features. So definitely shoot an email over to info@lapeef.com and you can get some information about our sponsorship package. So super exciting. Great show, ladies. How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling good. I think it was good.
We'll have to do this again. I have some other topics that I've been stirring a little more.
I know you have to do some less heavy topics.
A little more spicy topics.
I thought, Cannon and Nicole, it was really good to have you all here because the first thing people tell me and Kayla is that we don't have kids. I'm married.
Right. We can't relate.
No. It was really good having y'all's perspective, as people who are married or have been married and that have children. I thought that was really valuable. I thought you all both gave really good perspectives on the different topics that we had.
Yeah, but anybody who tells you that too, even people who do have kids, like nobody has the answer. Nobody has the finite answer.
That's what's most important to remember.
Yeah, that's why I say don't take no parenting advice from me, okay?
It's different for every parent. Every parent is doing freaking best they can.
Right.
That's literally what it is. You
Shout out to JA, new subscriber. Thanks, guys. We're live. There is a live show every day. Yes, there is, Jay, but our show is on Monday nights. And then the channel feature show, Let's Talk, is on Thursdays. So we'll see you there. Shout out to all the Green Gang. Shout out to some of our other super chats. I seen y'all earlier. Shout out to y'all. I know somebody contributed to Kay's bridal fund, so thank you for that. Some other people, shout out to the channel. Thank you guys so much. If I miss any super chats, I'm so sorry, guys. Love you. I just can't find it right now. But yeah, so yeah.
We have another caller in the back, Kayla.
Huh?
We have another caller in the back.
Oh, okay. Bring him up.
Maybe this probably will be the last caller, but we'll see. Hi, Practical Absolutes. What's up?
Hello.
How y'all doing? How the ladies doing? How y'all
What's up?
It's going good. I was writing this little technical paper for my class. It's like a level 5,000 course, direct to independent study on chemistry, and it was boring as fuck. But I mean, hey, I did it.
Congratulations. Good job.
Yes, congrats. I hope that works out.
Good job.
Sweet. I appreciate it. So I was watching pretty much the majority of the whole time. You know what I'm saying? As stated last week, y'all awesome. You know what I'm saying? The Lapeef Network got some real good stuff going on, like building all the way up to the top. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. So, you know what I'm saying? The thing I gotta say, you know what I'm saying, on this matter, it was something on the topic of I don't know who said it in particular, but somebody said that when you get a child, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be giving up some of yourself. And I mean, I don't got no children, you know what I'm saying? I'm 23, I'm young, you know what I'm saying? Young. But in all actuality, I feel like somebody's always developing, right? You know what I'm saying? They're always developing. I mean, so if that's the case, regardless of what it is you do, you're becoming still you, and you're giving up whatever it was that was you. It's about breaking down and building anew. Your body does it down to the chemical level every second, every millisecond. Every 4 to 5 years, every molecule in your body is replaced with an identical one from year zero. So are you still you 4 or 5 years later? Of course you are. So like, I don't like how we cut ourselves off when it comes to like certain things get put into our life, because it's still us at the end of the day.
Yep, it is. We are still us.
No, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
That's
interesting.
You know
what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I just think the problem comes into play, like you said, when those things do become compartmentalized as opposed to being fully realized, right? It would be different if it's engaged in a way where, like you said, it is a thing that gets it in addition to, as opposed to be something that becomes defining. Like one thing, right? It is we are made up of a lot of different parts. So then why would we then be boiled down to one thing? or two things.
I could dig that. Yeah, I could dig that. Like it's like literally like so. It's this philosopher, he's a late philosopher named Alan Watts. He actually talks on this topic. He has this quote that sticks to my name. He says, "You did not come into this world; you came out of it." Right. So when people try to like, he goes by the saying that first of all that there are no things. Now it's a reason why he says this. He was talking in a teacher format to little kids. And it was this one school, one lady, this one nice girl from Italy who had responded to this question. The question was, what is a thing? Everyone tried to give an answer. They say a noun, this, that. I mean, not a noun, my bad. They say everything but a noun. But this smart girl from Italy said a noun. There are no things in the physical universe. There are no things. So, like, to technically describe that, right? For us to try to say that we're this, we're that, and we're not those things, it's insane. You know, it's literally insane. Like literally, like I also to add on to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me bring up the idea of the overthinking, because people can say, "Oh, you're overthinking with this concept you're bringing up here," but conceptually, it's a true statement, and I don't think I'm overthinking because it's all about perspective. That's really all it is. I'm trying to say people have so many self-limiting factors placed on themselves when it comes to encroaching upon novelty or any kind of novel interaction in their life. They see something new, they usually get scared of it because, you know, humans are usually afraid of what's ambiguous or whatever. But hey. Lovely show, by the way.
No, I agree. I agree 1,000%. We like to be able to clearly define things. I think we find safety and security in that, to feel like we can clearly define and thoroughly understand stuff. I think is the scariest thing, to not have the answer or to not know.
Yeah.
So I think that is part of the human condition. We definitely like to be able to clearly define and understand what we're dealing with. So
unless we have another agenda that vagueness works better for.
And the thing is, like, for most of the human experience, like, so much exists in the gray area, and I think that makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. So I definitely get what you were saying, practical, you know, and thank you as always for calling in, supporting.
I know, always giving us some philosophical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, my dad was a philosopher and a felon, so I'm thankful
we see where you get it from. Thanks for calling. You know, you got to keep coming and seeing us.
You know, I'm gonna do that. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Good night, love.
For sure.
Thirst for knowledge is a great thing. Someone just said that in the chat, and I wanted to just reiterate that knowledge is a great thing.
Yes. Stay curious.
But yes, ladies, you are strong and beautiful, as always.
Oh, thank you. As are you, ladies.
Thank you.
See, y'all, I told you I love compliments. I love complimenting people. No, I do. I love complimenting people, and I love, like, you know.
I mean, it's good. It feels good.
It is. Just like the look that people give you is just it shows how far we're getting away from it. Because I'll do it like in a store or whatever, and people are like shocked. They're just like,
some people are just shocked.
Right.
They're like, wait, what? And I'm
I also think that interestingly enough, that may be a more Chicago thing than anything, because that was a huge culture shock for me when I moved to the South from Chicago, because you know we do not speak to random strangers. Yeah, like in Chicago, you are not just like having a whole conversation with random strangers. Out here,
if we are in the TJ Maxx or wherever, and I see you got on a hat, I'd be like, girl, I like that hat.
Yeah, so like I'm a lot more used to it now being here. Like people just walking up, smiling and talking, but it was really, really disconcerting at first because you're just not used to it. You're like, why is this person talking to me? What's going on?
You think people
you are on guard in Chicago? Like, wait,
people had an agenda?
Like they trying to trick me.
So nice.
Yeah, it's like they trying to distract me from something. They trying to get me.
I've been in New York too long with them damn pickpocketers. Good grief.
No, that's Chicago.
I'm in Chicago. I'm in Chicago.
Chicago raised me. It ain't the pickpockets. It's just we just the
Other
different
things.
we just some different people up there in Chicago, okay?
I'll keep that in mind. I have never been. I've only been through it.
Oh, you've
Like
never
I
been to
passed
Chicago?
through there, but I haven't like been in the city and gone to do things and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you gotta go get you some food. We have the best.
We are having
food
a
here.
show there. We're supposed to have our last show of the summer there, I believe, in July.
Oh,
and I heard the
yeah.
summers are super nice, even though you only got like 90 days or something. But I heard they're really
You would love it. You would love it.
Yeah,
You would love downtown summertime shot. You would love
yes.
it.
You have you've got to go to like all those places for the best, who has the best food, like hands down. Like you have to.
Yeah.
I always say
It's
like
literally a
5
cultural
times when I
mix.
come back to it. So
Well, I'm
where
excited.
are you, Kayla?
Huh? I'm in Florida.
Where are you located? Florida.
I'm
Okay.
in Florida for now.
Okay.
So
Go.
for the next few, LA. Y'all know
Oh.
this. Y'all know this. Yeah, it's already like in motion actually and everything. But yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Florida's beautiful. You can't beat it. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived. Like every day is nice. Even when it rains, it's sunny right after. And everything's beautiful. So I love it here. Year-round summer.
Are you from there?
I've been here about 5 years,
Okay.
but I really like it. I've enjoyed my time here. I like change. So I've been here for a while. It's time to do something else, and then something else, then something else.
Well, that definitely expands your horizons and it expands your frame of reference.
I
the
will.
more experiences you have, and the more different they are. Especially like living in different places amongst different people. That right there will just have you understanding that people are so different. Like from place to place, like culture to culture. Like it's just you know
It's
what I mean?
beautiful. And I bought a house here, so I always have like home here.
Mhm.
But it's time to go. Spread your wings. Caw-caw. Fly away. Mhm.
He said, "Coco."
But yeah. So ladies, this has been great. Do I have any other announcements or housekeeping notes that I have for the network? It's too early, or is it too late? Feel the tish, all of that. Yeah.
Well, let me just give a shout out then before we get done or hop off for a little shameless plug.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants to hop on with us tomorrow, we'll be on at 7:15 Central Standard Time. The Ladies Room podcast is what it is. We actually do we'll have some great topics for tomorrow, and we also have a group that you can join. That's a Ladies Room group chat, podcast group chat. Yeah. So if anybody's interested,
join the group. There's a lot of good conversations.
Yes, check it out, guys.
Yep. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Nicole, any plugs you want to, anything you want to? No? Yeah? No? Yeah?
Nicole is like, I'm Nicole, okay?
Not really.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Thank you, Baba. I appreciate it.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. And we will
thank you for inviting me.
all soon.
Yeah.
Don't
Appreciate
forget, we're
the
here every
invitation.
single
I'm here.
Monday, 7:30 Central, 8:30
Absolutely.
Eastern, right here on the Lapeef Network.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Love y'all.
This Chicago. This Chicago. This Chicago. This Chicago.
Hello, motherfucker. Hello, motherfucker. Hello, motherfucker. Hello, motherfucker.
This Chicago. This Chicago.
Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.